Cancer doesn't stop for COVID-19. Hello, I'm Dr. Cecilia Brewington. If you are age 45 or older, it's time to return to care and get tested. The government requires insurance companies to cover not only colonoscopy, but a range of tests, including virtual colonoscopy and other less invasive exams. Talk to your doctor about your options today. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org.
Did you know if you're an adult living with asthma or COPD, getting sick with pertussis may result in severe complications? Pertussis, or whooping cough, is a serious respiratory illness. Vaccination is the best way to help protect against pertussis. Speak to your healthcare provider to ensure you are up to date on your Tdap vaccination. Learn more at lung.org.
My son Finn was born with congenital heart disease. He ended up spending about the first 8 months of his life in the hospital. During that time, he endured 10 surgeries, including an open heart surgery. Starlight Children's Foundation has played an important role in my family's life. For 5 weeks when he was a baby, Finn lived in a Starlight Hero wagon. You could not understand the pure joy of having him go from a hospital bed into his favorite red wagon. Starlight doesn't just give items that hospitalized kids can use to keep themselves happy, but also memories, moments, and experiences which are so needed in times like these. They allow sick kids to just be kids for a little while. The support that Starlight provides to families like mine is an integral part to creating happiness at a time when there's very little to be found. Learn more about how Starlight Children's Foundation brightens the lives of sick kids by visiting starlight.org today.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the long clocks, warning, take the 8:15 into the city.
We're here.
There's a whistle up.
Hopefully you're there. Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings on a jam-packed Hump Day edition of the program. The Wednesday, October 11th, 2023 edition to be exact. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale, continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. As you get your Wednesday morning going, for all you early rise and shiners, 63 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We're looking at a high of 81 today with a little bit of sun, a little bit of clouds. Tonight, mainly clear skies with a low of 57 degrees. As I mentioned, jam-packed show. Coming up at 7:30, Ryan Silverfield, the head coach of the Tigers football team, the University of Memphis, a day earlier than usual. That's because things are jam-packed as far as the schedule for coach with the game on Friday night, Memphis-Tulane. Memphis now a 4.5-point dog. Started out at 3.5. Now it's up to 4.5. Coach will join us at 7:30. At 8:05, former Memphis Tigers offensive coordinator, longtime Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator, Randy Fietner will join us to talk NFL. At 8:25, Jerry Palm from CBS Sports and CBSSports.com on college football. 9:05, DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal on the Grizzlies. And then at about 9:30, 5 favorite things. Your topic, pretty simple. Your 5 favorite television moms. Your 5 favorite television moms. Get your list together and send them to us whenever you can at 901-360-8255. You could text in your lists or send them via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or send them to the website at sportsmemphis.com. Your 5 favorite television moms. In this first segment, we'll talk a little Grizzlies as they played another preseason game last night. The Major League Baseball playoffs rolling right along in Week 7 of the college football season. Got underway last night. And Dylan Brooks, Eli, is back at it again. He's in midseason form, punching dudes' nads.
He likes to do it,
See, if you
but
were,
it's never his fault.
If you watch preseason games, you would have saw that. But you're anti-preseason games.
Let me tell you this. As much as I hated watching Dylan Brooks play basketball in Memphis, I certainly ain't going to watch him play Houston. I certainly ain't going to watch a preseason game.
Yeah, I'm not going to either, unless it comes up as a highlight, and it did. Actually, a low light for Dylan Brooks. It was a Daniel Tice. He punched in the nads. My gosh, Dylan Brooks, when are you going to learn? Grizzlies last night, their second and final preseason home game. They got 3 games on the road, including Thursday night, tomorrow night in Atlanta, to wrap up the preseason portion of their schedule. Then they'll open up the season at home on the 25th of October, and they will take on, who is it in the opener?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Zion Williamson, Jonas Valanciunas, and the rest of the gang will be in Memphis on the 25th. But last night, the Grizzlies beat the Bucks 108-102, so they're 2-0 now in the preseason. If you're scoring at home, Marcus Smart once again did not play for the Grizzlies, and I was wondering about Steven Adams. I thought he probably would be given the night off. He was, so no Steven Adams. Meanwhile, for Milwaukee, their big 3, Damian Lillard, the new addition, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Chris Middleton, all were there. They were present, did not suit up, did not play. I tweeted out last night, I think the NBA should make at least one, well, not at least, one game on everybody's home preseason schedule a free game. Figure out how you want to give out the tickets, how you want to maybe reward students, whatever. There's a lot of people that don't get a chance to watch an NBA game. And I'm not talking about the open practice, which they had on Saturday, which is always a hit. That's fine. That's what the Grizzlies did. I'm talking about the NBA picking up the tab. They can afford it for these preseason games. The Stars aren't playing anyway, for goodness sakes. So the Grizz end up winning the game. Although a couple of the Grizz stars did play. Desmond Bane played a lot. He ended up with 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Bane went 25 minutes. And then Jaren Jackson Jr., he played 24 minutes. He had 17 points. He had 5 rebounds. And you also got Zaire Williams in the starting lineup. He went 24 minutes, scored 10 points, had a couple of assists, had a steal, had a blocked shot, looked pretty good. My gut, and we'll ask to Michael Cole, maybe he has a good feeling on this as well. My gut tells me Zaire Williams will start opening day.
I believe that as well.
You think so? And Luke Kennard will come off the bench. But Zaire looked good last night for what it's worth in the preseason. Jake LaRavia had 16 points off the bench. And again, the question will be, with that small forward position, really, who's the starter right now while Ja's out? And then who's going to be out of the rotation? Because I don't see where all those guys are playing. Konchar's going to get minutes. You would think Zaire and Roddy. I think LaRavia is going to be left out, even though he's actually making a case for himself right now the way he's playing.
Yeah, I don't. I think that's probably still sorting itself out. LaRavia, I think they would like LaRavia more as the shooter of that group. Obviously, you got Kennard, but LaRavia is kind of that other guy who could come in, and you could see. I mean, they give him the green light to shoot the threes, and they want him to do that. And I don't know. It's between LaRavia and Roddy. I don't know for sure which one will get minutes, or if either one of them will really get many minutes.
Derrick Rose, 19 and a half minutes, just 1 of 5 from the field for 2 points, but had 7 assists as opposed to just 2 turnovers. So 7-2 turnover or assist to turnover ratio. Zach Boyd, what was the atmosphere like last night?
Oh, it was fun atmosphere.
Good crowd? Decent
Good crowd
for a preseason game?
Yeah, for another preseason game. It was a good crowd.
Mm-hmm. Got a chance to see a couple of stars, as I mentioned, with Bane and Jackson, but no Marcus Smart. I wonder if Marcus Smart's going to play at all in the preseason.
I think he will. I mean, I guess it's abdominal, injury or whatever. I think it's just some soreness, but I mean, I think eventually he will play.
Yeah, I know what he's going through, to be honest with you. So we'll see. Thursday night again, tomorrow night in Atlanta for their third preseason game. Other news from the world of basketball. They actually had the preliminary hearing for Mikey Williams in San Diego yesterday. The Superior Court judge ruled that the trial can go on. The gun charges against Mikey Williams, there's enough evidence there, there's enough information for him, and now finally they have the preliminary hearing and the trial goes on, which means, again, for anyone who has a pipe dream that this young man's going to play for Memphis. It ain't happening. It ain't happening
Well, it ain't
this
happening
season.
this year.
Right. I mean, if he's going to hang around and next year he doesn't go to jail, I mean, I guess there's always that possibility, but it ain't happening this year. There was also some finger pointing during the preliminary hearing that there was some jury tampering or some evidence tampering, whatever they said. They haven't picked the jury yet, right? So it's evidence tampering that was going on. So this is already a mess. It's already a circus there with the 3 delays, but they finally do have the preliminary hearing yesterday, and the trial will go on, again, unless all of a sudden charges are dropped by 5 different people, right? There's 5 counts of gun charges in this. I guess is it attempted murder?
I'm not even exactly sure what the exact
manslaughter.
What
I'm
they've
not sure.
actually
Yeah,
charged him. What the exact charges are, but no,
shots into a car with people there, and there were 5 people. Right?
I don't think once we've come this far, the DA is going to suddenly decide to drop charges. So
right. It's going to happen. It's going to go on. All right. From the world of baseball, yesterday the Texas Rangers knocked off the Baltimore Orioles 7-1, and the Texas Rangers sweep Baltimore 3-0 as they advance to the American League Championship Series. Seager, Garcia, the former Redbird, and Lowe all hit home runs, and Bruce Bochy is at it again.
Well, they certainly are playing well. They're hot, and Nathan Eovaldi was absolutely fantastic. That offense, which mashed the ball pretty much all year long, is mashing the ball once again. A couple of bombs in that game, the Garcia bomb and then Lowe, those were absolutely hammered. And boy, what a buzzkill for the Baltimore fans, man! That's a rough go. You're all excited, like back in the postseason. Here we go, and 3 games and good night.
Yeah, it came and went in a hurry, and I thought maybe they could do it win one for Brooks. Didn't happen.
Yeah, that all the excitement went away in a hurry. And boy, the AL East, yikes! Rough go of it. Send 3 teams to the postseason. They go 0-7.
Hard to believe when you look at that division with 3 teams making the playoffs and the Yankees and the Red Sox not making the playoffs, but it's still the Yankees and the Red Sox, all in that same division. And you're right, 0-7. And not only in this series, but it seems to be the trend so far in the postseason, is that teams are jumping out early. They're great, like teams that go on to win are jumping out real quick. Now, it didn't happen for the Phillies in Game 2 against the Braves, but for the most part,
except for the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's true. That's true. But for the most part, we see teams scoring 2, 3, 4, 5 runs early, like in the first couple of innings of games, and then hanging on for the most part to win.
Well, there's certainly you see what I mean. It's again Arizona. They flipped from letting Milwaukee score to now they score, and then these the Rangers. And the Rangers are just that offense when it's going. They score a ton of runs. That's what they do. They got a lot of guys that line up can hit the ball. Seager's been absolutely incredible all year long, pretty much.
But it's a pitching staff that doesn't scare you. You mentioned Eovaldi, who's been good in the postseason in his career. Max Scherzer was the guy they picked up to hope to bring his experience, and Scherzer's hurt. So it's not one of those
it's not a great
pitching staffs.
It's not a pitching staff,
scare you.
But it is an offense that certainly can scare you, and certainly did its damage to the Orioles.
Well, we are headed towards an all-Texas American League Championship Series as Texas has punched its ticket, and the Houston Astros are trying to make the American League Championship Series, correct me if I'm wrong, Eli, for a 7th straight season? Zach, can you look that up? Sure. I want to say the Astros, if they make it, it'll be 7 straight years to make the American League Championship Series. They bombed Minnesota yesterday at Target Field in Minneapolis, 9-1. Speaking of teams with great offenses, but they have the pitching to go along. Christian Javier, through 5 innings, gave up 1 hit and struck out 9. So they've been getting dynamite pitching. But boy, the hitting, Yordan Alvarez hit his 4th home run in 3 games in this series. Jose Abreu hit 2 bombs, 3-run shot, 2-run shot, knocks in 5. Houston, again, early runs, never were headed here in this one, 9-1 win. And now today, the 3 remaining divisional series, the 2 in the National League and this one, there will be games in all 3. So the Astros in Minnesota have a chance to wrap it up and set up that ALCS with Texas. If they lose, the good thing for them is they'll be back in Houston for Game 5.
Yeah, it's 6 straight.
So this would be the 7th.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, that's an incredible run. My mantra is anybody but the Astros. Anybody but the Astros. I will be rooting. Well, I'll be rooting heavily for Minnesota today, but I don't think they'll get it done. But the Texas Rangers and the Astros, that should be a fun series with a lot of runs.
The Christian Javier, that dude in the postseason is insane. It was weird. It felt like he was in trouble in every inning, but he kept getting out of it. And then you look at the end, he only gave up 1 hit, but he walked 5 guys. They just constantly had runners on base, mainly because he put them there. And
How many pitches did he end up throwing?
Just I do not know what his pitch count was, but
he only lasted 5.
He found a way to get out of it every single time.
Yep.
His scoreless inning streak, I can't remember what the scoreless inning streak is at now in the postseason. Of course, he was the guy last year, or was it last year or 2 years? Whatever, they did the combined no-hitter. He started that game, but he's incredible in the postseason. And that offense, Yordan Alvarez, when he gets locked in, that dude you can't pitch to him. And it was funny, like A.J. Pierzynski and Adam Wainwright were like, seriously, don't pitch to this guy. Like he had 2 doubles, he had the home run. It's incredible. I think every hit in the series he has is an extra base hit. Like he's in one of those modes. And he ended the year that way. I think he was the player of the month in the month of September in the American League.
And his home runs aren't cheap.
When he gets locked in, that dude is a hitting machine, and he's in that mode right now. And yeah, you just got to be like, okay, we're not going to put a ball anywhere near the plate. Just put him on base, move along in that lineup. Not that they got plenty of other guys that lineup can hurt you, but man, when he's in this mode, you cannot pitch to that guy.
National League Divisional Series today. You have the Braves and the Phillies from Citizens Bank Park in Philly, 4:07. Game 3 after the Braves' incredible comeback to beat the Phillies in Game 2. That series is even at 1. Aaron Nola will go for Philadelphia. The Braves, as of this moment, still undecided. So I'm not sure what Atlanta's going to do, what Snitker's going to do as far as his starting pitcher in this particular game. Maybe he'll run a bullpen session. Who knows? It worked for Philadelphia in Game 1. And then the Dodgers in Arizona, they will be the third of the 3 games today, 8:07, as Lance Lynn will go for the Dodgers, the former Cardinal. And is it Brandon Pfaadt? How do you pronounce it? Pfaadt? He will go for the Diamondbacks as the Diamondbacks try to wrap it up. They win the first 2 at Chavez Ravine and need just one more win to pull off a shocker against the Dodgers. So again, Atlanta, Philly at 4:07. Sandwiched in between is Houston and Minnesota in the ALDS at 6:07. Then 8:07, the Dodgers in Arizona.
By the way, I do want to say this too, with having with Adam Wainwright working the Astros Twins series. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals need to do whatever they can to lock up Adam Wainwright as their analyst on their television broadcast.
I didn't hear 1 second. He's really good.
Wainwright, him and Pierzynski together, I think are really, really good. Mm-hmm. But the Cardinals, which their television booth is an utter disaster, especially on the color analyst side. Please, just because those games I have to get stuck watching your broadcast, please get Adam Wainwright in that booth so that Jim Edmonds never has to do another game and most of those other guys never have to do a game. Wainwright is light years ahead of what they have for color analysts in the Cardinals TV booth.
Well, didn't they have their own issues with the play-by-play guy, too?
Well, he's gone.
Yes.
It's bad enough that I got to listen to Chip Carey, but at least with Chip Carey with Jim Edmonds is literally impossible to watch. So please get Adam Wainwright in there. Adam Wainwright is really good.
Yeah, and I meant the guy before him, McLaughlin.
Yeah, Dan McLaughlin.
Who had his issues obviously off the field, had his taboo with alcohol. Ism, and that certainly cost him his job. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Chip Carey. And as far as the analysts are concerned, I don't watch enough Cardinals baseball to really know who's good or not. But I'll take your word for it about Adam Wainwright. I had not heard him. Was that his first time?
I don't know.
He's been playing. He's
done. He's done so far this. I think he might have, if I remember right. He in the past, I think they've had him do games once the Cardinals have been out of it. I can't.
Oh, really?
I can't remember for sure, but I want to say he may have been in the studio. But I think he has done some games in the past. But him and Brzezinski together are really, really good.
Week 7 of the college football season got underway last night. Some interesting games, including that Appalachian State Coastal Carolina game. That was just a fun game to watch. These are two really good football programs. Coastal Carolina ends up winning it in the end, 27-24. So it was interesting. The game was tied at 24, and their running back is apparently going in for a touchdown with under a minute to go, and he falls down at the 1. So after Appalachian State uses its timeouts and they milk the clock down, 3 seconds to go, they kick the game-winning field goal, although they were questioning the kicker. They've had their kicking woes, so they left it up to the kicker, which I thought maybe was a mistake. Score when you can score, but they were worried about App State coming right down the field and matching them. So Coastal Carolina gets the win. McCall looked good for the most part at times. They did get to him, but 27-24, both teams at 3-3. Again, two programs. I enjoy watching both those teams.
That was a weird ending because they had Coastal had a 4th and 3 from the 20-yard line on the drive before in a tie game, and they chose to go for it rather than kick the field goal from there to take the lead. They don't get it. And then App State hits a 50-something yard play, but
guy fumbles it.
Great play from behind, chops the ball out. Somehow they recover it before it goes out of bounds. Dude looked like he went into plank mode or something as he recovered the ball to just keep his body somewhat in bounds. And then they go down. And when the guy went down, I was like, it's a smart play, except
yes,
it's a college kicker. I was fine doing it just to make them use another timeout. But if I'm them, I'm still trying to punch the ball in the end zone. I just don't want to trust college kickers in those situations. It worked out, but if I'm anybody like that, I just don't. I have a fear of putting it under a college kicker's foot.
I couldn't sleep last night. I had agita pretty much the entire night. Maybe some of it was from needing a touchdown in that Coastal Carolina App State game to cover with the over. When they had opportunities to score, like you said, on that pass play, the guy wouldn't have scored the touchdown, but they had the ball at the 30 with plenty of time left. Maybe they punched in for a touchdown. And then, of course, as we just talked about, the running back for Coastal going down at the 1-yard line. So it didn't work out for me. It worked out for Coastal Carolina. Also last night, Liberty and Jacksonville State. Another interesting game. Undefeated Flames at Jacksonville State. Coach Rich Rodriguez has done a nice job with that team. And in the end, Liberty just a little bit too much. They win 31-13. It was very tight for a while. Liberty now 6-0. Jacksonville State 5-2. And Liberty is a team. We talked about Jamie Chadwell yesterday. Went from Coastal Carolina to Liberty. He was asked about the move. Somebody said it was a lateral move. He said, no, it's not a lateral move. There's a lot of money that they put into the program at Liberty. Just ask Hugh Freeze. But Chadwell's team, undefeated. That's a team to look out for as far as the New Year's Six.
Yeah, because they're in a conference now. You didn't used to have to worry about them because they couldn't be a conference champion. But now that they're in a conference, they are a team, and they're really, really good. Jacksonville State went through 3 quarterbacks in the game. They were getting guys hurt, but they normally play 2. But then they had to go to their 3rd guy. But Liberty's offense. Liberty. Chadwell's just a great coach. It's not, he'll be at Liberty for a while, and I'm sure he'll go somewhere else and get a bigger job. But that dude, he can just flat out coach. He knows what he's doing, especially on the offensive side.
Also last night, Middle Tennessee State, the Fighting Stockstills get a win over Louisiana Tech, 31-23. MTSU now 2-5. La Tech is 3-5. 2 more games tonight. UTEP at Florida International. That's Mike McIntyre's team, and Sam Houston will play at New Mexico State. One other topic before we take a timeout and get ready for Ryan Silverfield, the Tigers head football coach, who will join us at 7:30. Again, the Tigers right now a 4.5-point underdog. Started at 3, now at 4.5. Want to go back to basketball? We talked about the Grizzlies and their preseason win last night over the Bucks. The annual NBA GM survey is out, Eli. Have you taken a look at that? A little gander at that?
I have not.
Some of the highlights from the NBA GM survey involving the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant picked as the most athletic for his 2nd straight year by the general managers around the league. The Grizzlies picked second for best defensive team. So they were picked second by the general managers for best defensive team. Marcus Smart was picked as the most underrated acquisition of the offseason. Although I think it's getting a lot of play, but they say underrated, the Marcus Smart move by the Grizzlies. And speaking of Marcus Smart and Tripp, Jaren Jackson Jr. both got serious consideration for the best defensive player. And why wouldn't they? Smart won the award a couple of years ago. Jaren Jackson Jr. is the defending Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. So just a few of the notes from the NBA General Manager Survey, which comes out annually, and some notes about the Memphis Grizzlies. We need to take a time out. When we come back, we're talking Tigers football. The Tiger football report, by the way, will be tomorrow as we'll break down the Tigers and Tulane. We'll also have the voice of Tulane, Corey Glore, on the program. But when we come back, it's all about the Tigers and Coach Ryan Silverfield. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new fall arrivals from TaylorMade, Callaway, and Titleist. Come by and test drive the new TaylorMade P790 irons, the new Callaway Apex Pro iron sets, and the new Titleist T-Series irons. While you're there, get a free custom fitting on the new arrivals and more. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is your headquarters for all the latest golf gear from all the top manufacturers. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at edwinwattsgolf.com.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. People are loving what we've brought to Memphis. Genesis is a different kind of jewelry store with more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you never thought possible. The selection at Genesis is mind-blowing. Up to 30 times what you'd find at ordinary stores, including one of the largest selections of certified diamonds in the United States. From a half carat to 20 carats, rounds, princess cuts, ovals, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, both natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds. Plus, Genesis has brought a new level of quality to Memphis with exquisite handcrafted designer jewelry you won't find anywhere else. From names like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, Kirk Cara, and dozens more from New York and California. And don't miss our stunning selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Discover the Genesis difference, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open at Poplar & Perkins, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price. It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase out here on 40 westbound as you come out of Fayette County, making your way into Shelby. Traffic's still moving right now on 55 up through South Haven. All that traffic flow building up out of DeSoto County headed in and through South Memphis. It's been a little bit slow up here on 40 west across the bridge, headed over towards West Memphis from that road work. Hey, enjoy Smoky Mountain Fall Festival now through the end of the month at Oberg-Gatlinburg. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Rocking out on a Wednesday morning. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you. Looks like another nice weather day today in Memphis. The weather should be fantastic for Friday night as the Tigers and Tulane go at it. The biggest game of the year for the Tigers, and not just because it's the next game. It's the biggest game. They're 4-1. They're playing Tulane. They're 4-1. A big clash in the American Conference. We're excited. We hope you are as well. We know Coach Silverfield's excited. We got him coming up right now.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers football. It's Sports 56 Mornings weekly visit with Tigers head coach Ryan Silverfield. Brought to you by ATC Fitness with 18 locations in Memphis and the Mid-South. Now, here's Coach Silverfield with Greg and Eli.
It is time to talk to head coach Ryan Silverfield. You can follow him on social media on Twitter at @rsilverfield, but I can guarantee he's not worried about social media. There are more important things, and that includes the big game on Friday night. Coach, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you guys for having me on, Greg. I hope your health is going well. I was thinking about you.
Oh, thanks, Coach.
There, but yeah,
really appreciate it.
But yes, sir. But yeah, obviously, all focus on Friday night. Very, very exciting times around here, around our program, around the city, with a huge clash against Tulane.
It's interesting. Both teams had a bye week, so there's no advantage as far as that's concerned. As far as your bye week is concerned, what were you guys able to do? Obviously, some of the walking wounded, you get them healthy, but as far as the way you scheduled things to prepare for this Friday night game?
Yeah, one, it's not like you're coming from a Saturday to a Saturday, so we were trying to be relatively creative. Obviously, we played the Boise game, came in, bought them in on Sunday right after, and kind of put that game to bed. I think that's the biggest thing, is as quickly as you can put that game to bed. And then gave the guys a couple days off, brought them in midweek and got some practices in with, a lot of focus on just ourselves, right? Like, hey, here's some of the things 5 games into the season that we can improve upon in all 3 phases. And then a little bit of focus on Tulane. Give the guys a couple more days off, and then it's been a normal week of Tulane practice, obviously, just with our days bounced out. Like my brain today, you couldn't tell me a different today is a Thursday through and through, and I wouldn't know any different.
So how do you, when you have a game like this, obviously, the Missouri game was a big game. The Boise game was a big game. This is different because it's a conference game, but do you try and take it as, hey, this is another game, or do you want the players to realize, hey, this is big. This is the defending conference champions. This is a big one in our building.
Yeah, Eli. So it's a combination of both, right? You want them to understand the importance of this game, a national television game, a conference game that, the team we were playing are the champs, the defending champs. And we, for our goals and what we want, we've got to beat Tulane. We all know that. I think everybody in the conference realizes that, and our guys do. So, and then I also tell them they shouldn't need any extra motivation, to go out there and do what we're capable of. It's that same fine line as, when we run out of that tunnel, I want their hair on fire, but I don't need their entire malfunctioning where they can't even focus because they're so excited and they're fired up. It's just, hey, go out there and do your job at a high level. I think more than anything, you want them to understand the importance of preparation, right? And so, not that we'd prepare any different, whether it was Bethune-Cookman or Notre Dame, you just want them to have a even more of a elite focus, and hopefully, the opponent certainly helps that.
It's pretty obvious why teams play really well at home, having that home field advantage, having the home crowd, being comfortable in their surroundings, and things of that nature, the other team having to travel in. But you guys have taken it to another level. You have an unbelievable record at home. You've really taken advantage of that. And for those who don't know, you have played Tulane 8 times at home since 2000. In this century, have won all 8 times. And I know every year is different. Every time, every other year, of course, you play them is different. I understand that. But what is it about this home field advantage, Ryan, that you really take advantage of?
Well, I think it's, the exact words is that comfort level. And I think, when things go awry at home, right, in life, just like in football games, adversity is going to occur. I don't know if that's going to occur before the game even starts. On the bus ride over, we get a flat tire, or it's the night before, in your hotel room, or it may occur in the fourth quarter with an onside kick, right? Adversity is going to occur, and when it's at home and you're comfortable in your environment, you can collect yourself and say, okay, hey, guys, let's attack this thing. Sometimes when things occur, it's hey, this locker room at this away opponent may not have air conditioning, or we got to deal with the hotel fire alarm at a different place going off at 2 a.m. There's just too many factors sometimes that are out of our control when we're away. And at home, it's, hey, regardless of what happens, take a deep breath. We're going to find a way. And plus, it gives you guys confidence, right? Not only the fans, like we talked about, have been absolutely tremendous, but, probably if I go out there and close my eyes, I could tell you which, not blade of grass, blade of turf should be turned in which direction out there.
This Tulane team, obviously very good. Defensively, they have been dominant against the run until the UAB game. UAB kind of cracked the code a little bit. Everybody else that averaged less than 3 yards a carry against them couldn't do anything. UAB was able to run the ball a little bit. I didn't get the chance to see that. But what makes them so good, first of all, against the run?
Yeah, so what they do is they're a one high safety team, whether they're playing cover 3 or cover 1. So they've got that extra hat in the box, right? So the numbers dictate, hey, on paper, well, there's not a lot of good run lane options, right? You've got to maybe get in 12 personnel to try to create some stuff. Got to find different ways to be creative, or you got to take advantage of the passing game. Well, that sounds great, but they're very good, in coverage. And so it's like, oh, well, they're really good in coverage. Well, then run the ball. Wait, there's an extra hat and you can't account for him. I don't care who's got the marker last. When that free hitter's there, he's the free hitter. And so they've done a fantastic job. A lot of those teams that are really good versus the run have the ability to be really good in the secondary, so they can bring another hat to the box and have an extra run defender. So, sometimes people say, oh, no, don't get me wrong, they're very stout up front. They got some good transfers in. They got a lot of these young men that want to get back to New Orleans and come back home, and they're having a lot of success. They do an excellent job, and that's one of the reasons why they've been able to stop the run, and then they're effective. With that being said, then you look, and I think they're top 15 in the country in sacks, and well, part of that is because they defend the pass really well.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about pressure, getting pressure on quarterbacks. They've done a good job. They get to the quarterback. Your offensive line, and you're the perfect guy to ask because of your years dealing with the offensive line, to me seems like they've done an admirable job. Maybe you want to say something differently. I don't know. I'm giving you the space to do that. But I think they've done a pretty good job in protecting Seth for the most part. They're going to have to be better than they usually are to protect for Hennigan, because if they get to Seth, that could be a long day.
Yeah, Greg, I'm going to steal that word, admirable. I think that's exactly right. I think they've done a nice job. Certainly can be improving. I think we're seeing an O-line that's coming together week in and week out. Obviously, sometimes there's a rotation here or there, but they're doing a pretty darn good job. Is it perfect? No, right? And I always say this over the years. Even if you had the 92 Dallas Cowboys, people are still complaining about their offensive line. No fan, no coach says, "Oh yeah, we've got the best O-line. They're perfect." Because you give up one sack a game, you're terrible. So That's the nature of that position. But they're doing a really good job. They're playing hard. They're playing smart. They're doing some good things, but they've got their work cut out for them Friday night because Tulane's front seven, what they're able to do, getting off the edge, the multitude of fronts and pressure packages, they've got to be on top of it, and they got a big challenge ahead of them.
Meanwhile, on the offensive side of the ball, everybody knows about Michael Pratt, and obviously they don't have the running back who was really, really good. Obviously, Spears is gone. But what do you see out of them offensively, and what do you have to do against Pratt other than probably get pressure on him?
Yeah, so, we all know Michael Pratt's a lot of people consider one of the top 10 quarterbacks in college football, if not even higher up than that. He's had success. He's won a lot of games there. The whole offense runs through him, so he puts them in the right situation. Quite often they're looking down the wristband, he gets a play, and then he knows the checks and balances off of that. I mean, he's just such an efficient quarterback, right? Over 75% completion percentage. I mean, that's outrageous, right? 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. He is playing as efficient as any quarterback in the country, and then he's got some weapons, right? They got a redshirt senior receiver in Lawrence Keys. They got Jaquan Jackson, right, one of the top punt returners, who's a senior wide receiver. We saw what he did to us last year in the return number 4. And then he's just got a slew of backs that they really trust. And all that being said, 4 of their 5 returning starters from last year's Cotton Bowl champs, O-line is back. So they were able to keep the majority. Yes, they lost their running back, but they feel really comfortable with what they've added. And then, continue another year with Pratt and some of these other guys stepping up at a higher level as they've gotten older.
You guys are sitting at 4-1, as is Tulane. But as you have said, you have not played a complete game yet, by any stretch of the imagination. And a big part of that is normally getting off to slow starts. And it happened at Boise, and you guys got it together and won that game with a great come-from-behind win. Last year, I don't have to bring it up to you about Tulane, what happened down there, and the comeback and nearly pulled it off. How can you get out to quicker starts? I think if you knew that, you'd be doing it. But why do you think it is that the team is getting out to a bit slow starts for the most part this season?
Yeah, and, this is certainly not an excuse, right? Like, I go back to the Boise game, right? We started on offense, and everybody thinks about slow starts, whether it's the big play defensively, whatever. The defense went, I think, 6 and out. And then offensively, right, we started the ball literally on the 3-inch line, I think, that punt that they said was down on the 3-inch line. So, all of a sudden the field position's completely flipped on you.
Right.
And that's probably nothing and look, no excuses, no explanations on that. And no different than a lot of these other things. I think what's happened, and it's funny because, you play these opponents and then you get calls from the person you just played their next opponent, right? Hey, tell us what you thought. Hey, why'd they play this versus you? So what's happening is we are seeing schemes that we have not seen before. And Coach Vance will probably say, well, just watch more film. Well, I promise you, we're watching as much film dating back multitude of years of different things.
And it's not there.
And it's so wait a second. If Tulane's lining up in a 3-down front, and then on Friday they line up in a 4-2-5. Well, gosh darn. Well, we have not prepared really for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, well, why wouldn't you? But we've never seen it on film. So teams are doing some unique stuff to us. So what I said this, look, sometimes through the course of a game, right? We talked about Navy's triple option, taking a deep breath. Okay, here's what they're really trying to do. Here's what they're trying to attack. And I credit the coaches, the assistants, and the players for making the adjustments. Right? Okay, here's what Boise's doing. They changed this up. This is a unique deal. And so sometimes I ask, I even ask other coaches, like, why did you guys change up? Well, we didn't want you to prepare for this, and we thought this was the best chance we had to beat you guys. And so credit to them, for being creative. And look, Tulane's coming off a bye. I'm sure we're going to see something totally different. And hopefully we have the ability to adjust and adapt and overcome sooner than later, right? You can dig yourself into a hole. Last year's Tulane game, complete special teams blunders all over the field, right? We threw an interception. We had a punt return bounce off our chest that they got. We punted the ball to them. They had a punt return for a touchdown. It was just a complete, perfect disaster by the Tigers in every facet. And, we couldn't tackle on the running back. And then, obviously, halftime, we just said, okay, look, well, we're going to get our crap together and go play the complete second half, and we were. And look, I challenged our guys even yesterday after practice. We came out yesterday with a fantastic energy, mindset, and approach, and there was a lull somewhere there in practice. And I don't know if it was, period 12, whatever it may have been. But we can't have that because those laws in practice, could be a 14-point swing. And then we finished up strong. So you're dealing with 18 to 23-year-olds. I think every coach in the country, is trying to figure out, hey, what's the best way to keep them consistent, keep them focused, keep them dialed in for all 4 quarters. They're going to be certainly be motivated. They're going to be prepared. But that's the challenge that we continue to face. Our guys understand it, and they appreciate the fact that they know it's going to take a tremendous effort in order to be able to do that, especially versus a very good football team.
You talk about that focus, everything else. I know one of the things that always makes coaches happy is when you can avoid penalties, and you guys have continued to be one of the least penalized teams in the country, and I know that has to make you extremely happy and something you hope that could continue for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you know what? It's so unique, Eli, that we've and I credit to the players and the staff, but since I've been the head coach, we've been one of the, knock on wood, right? We've been one of the least penalized teams in all of college football, and that's going on 4 years. One of the bottom 15 least penalized. So that shows our kids are disciplined. It shows they're listening. But then I also said, man, are we not being aggressive enough? Maybe right. I've made that comment before. I said that in the office. I said, hey, maybe we need to be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe reach a hand out a little bit longer and hold a little bit longer. Or be a little bit. So, it sounds good, but I prefer it to turn into wins. So, but the guys are being disciplined, and they are focused in that matter. And that's right. That speaks volumes to what they're able to do. Now you just hope, right, you continue to do things the right way, that it turns into W's.
All right, final thing for you. You win this football game if you guys do what? And don't say score more points.
This is, and you guys are going to hate this answer, but just be consistent. Let's play. And I told you guys right after the postgame, like, can we go play a consistent game? And it doesn't have to be a dominant game, but we can't shoot ourselves in the foot like we've done in the past versus this team, because every year we've gone down there, and any mistake by us, it just gets magnified. Right now they're coming to our place. We've got to play a consistent football game. Go out there and just play at a really, really high level, own the football, and do what we're capable of doing. And I know fans are saying, well, no, why don't you throw ball in the air, do all that. Look, we're going to take what they give us, but we're also going to be the aggressor. And, hopefully we like that final result. But can we go out there and play consistent for 4 quarters? And if we do, we'll look up and we'll like that end result.
I know you're hoping for and expecting a big crowd, and you did your part. You're out there. You're buying tickets for folks.
Yeah, people keep asking, hey, you got to bump that number up? No, we're good. Still got it. Still got to make sure I've got a place to lay my head. We got, still got to pay.
You got a mortgage, don't you?
Still like to be able to get to work. Okay, but no, look, we're obviously, you guys know the marketing job our university's done. They've done a fantastic job with that, but also just you guys, and I've said this all along, I even mentioned this in the press conference, this community, this school, it truly is everything to me. And I think most people get that sense, like, man, yeah, Coach is pretty genuine about it. And, sometimes you just put your money where your mouth is and you back it up. And we want to see as many fans as we can in the stands. It's going to be a tremendous atmosphere. Anybody that hasn't got a ticket, go buy one, come show up, be loud, be proud. It's a national television game. What a way to spotlight our community in Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and against a fantastic opponent, and can't wait to show up.
No question about it. Coach, we'll see you on Friday.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Go Tigers.
Thank you, Coach. Ryan Silverfield, Tigers head football coach, who joins us each and every week to talk about the upcoming game.
Hope he got a good group discount. You buy 2,500 tickets. I'd like to think you get a little bit of a group discount on that. He's got connections in the athletic department. I would think he got a good price on him, but I understand. It's a tough world out there.
I hear you. We'll take a quick timeout, come back, wrap up hour number 1. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Hi, folks. Jeff Jackson, General Manager at Sunrise Buick GMC. Get your guns and saddle up during Western Trading Days. Old-time trading prices on all new Buicks and GMCs, and a used car corral with over 300 cars to choose from. Sunrise has rustled up a herd of good-looking used cars and trucks under $99.95. Ranchers have cut prices to the bone. If you're a good person with bad credit, it's okay. If you got a job, you're approved at Sunrise. Come on in and save money during Western Trading Days at Sunrise Collierville, Highway 385 at Houston Levy Road, or visit us online at sunrisememphis.com.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
This hour of the program is indeed brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince is where you'll find them. And it's a place I spend a lot of time because that's where I got my Big Green Egg, as they are a platinum Big Green Egg dealer. And so that means they've got all of the different egg accessories as well. So whenever I need something for my Big Green Egg, I can head on over there, see the folks at East Memphis Ace Hardware. But beyond, of course, the Big Green Egg, much, much more in there. Recently, I was looking for something. It was a hose hanger. I was looking for a hose hanger. I couldn't find the right one. I couldn't find the color I needed.
Hoser.
And I went over to East Memphis Ace Hardware, talked to the folks there. While they didn't have it, they're like, we can order it. We'll get it here in a couple of days. Boom, a couple of days, had it. Everything was absolutely perfect as far as that is concerned. Obviously, huge selection of paint. We're getting into the time of the year where those leaves are starting to fall. You're going to be out in the yard taking care of leaves. Well, they got everything you need for that as well. They just got everything you need for anything around the home at East Memphis Ace Hardware. They got a very helpful staff. Like I said, when you go over there, and if you can't find it, talk to them. They're going to take care of you like they did with me. At the corner of White Station and Quince, that's where you'll find them in East Memphis. They are East Memphis Ace Hardware, and they bring you hour number one of our program.
You know what? They also have Friday night over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, or at least in the vicinity, that correlates with the football game that'll take place. Your favorite thing in Memphis, a little wrestling.
Oh, yes, that's right. It is wrestling night.
Yes, it's wrestling night starting at 4:30. They'll have matches. I assume they'll have matches on Tiger Lane like they did last year, which was actually a hit. Mm-hmm. And not surprising that it was a hit because it's such a beloved quasi-sport, if you will, here in Memphis. I saw some of the names. Coco Beware will be on hand. Jerry the King Lawler, who, by the way, I mean, you have Dick Vitale and his battle with cancer, which is unbelievable how he's battled that thing. My daughter-in-law, her battle with cancer. These are strong people. The King, man, The King, with all he has gone through, just continues to get himself up off the mat, like literally, and he'll be there. The King is unreal, just an unbelievable ambassador for this city. But it will be wrestling night. And Ryan Silverfield was asked the other day, Monday, in fact, during his press conference, who his favorite wrestler is. And he said the Ultimate Warrior was his favorite, but he said he also is a big fan of a couple other guys he said was Ric Flair, a few other big-name guys, but the Ultimate Warrior, his favorite. Who would be your all-time favorite?
That's Junkyard Dog. We've discussed this
JYD.
many times. I got his figurine at home still.
Is JYD still with us?
No. I think he died years ago, I believe.
Yeah. I didn't get them mixed up as far as who they were as wrestlers, but I knew that either Junkyard Dog or Coco Beware had I want to say killed in an auto accident. And I always think, like, which one was it? So, yeah, JYD. But, yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to go old school. Old school. Before really it was gimmicky. Bruno Sammartino. Saw a great documentary about him. Raised in western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area, where his parents came from. I forget which country it was. Just the whole thing on Bruno Sammartino. And he really got it rolling. I know there were guys before him, but man, oh man, he became a huge name. So it is wrestling night on Friday. Actually, wrestling afternoon. Again, starting at 4:30 with the game kicking off just after 6 o'clock. And I hope it is a great crowd, as Ryan talked about. I would love to see, I mean, definitely in the 30s. I would love to see more in the mid-30s. We had 30,000 and change announced for the Boise State game. This is a huge game. The importance of this game, you can't magnify it. I mean, you can't put it down on paper. I mean, we know that there's no guarantees if Memphis wins the game that they're going to the American Conference Championship. But there's a great chance that they are with that schedule. It's advantageous. And the numbers I brought up, the stats, the analytics, they have dominated Tulane at home. 8 times they've met since 2000. 8 times. Memphis has won all 8 times, including, I think it was 33-28 off the top of my head back in 2021. For some reason, they play extremely well against Tulane at home. Now, Tulane over the last few years, with the money that they have gathered from their collectives for NIL, what they have dished out, what they've doled out, and Willie Fritz staying, which tells you an awful lot about his commitment to the program. This is to be the best, you got to beat the best. And Ryan understands that mantra. And that's what it is. You're trying to beat the best right now in the American Conference.
That's right. It's a really good Tulane team once again. So it will be a huge challenge. As you said, the Tigers have been very good at home against them, but that guarantees nothing in this one. You've got to go out. You're going to have to play well. You can't afford to get off to the slow start. You can't afford turnovers. You can't afford mistakes. This team is really, really good. And defensively up front, they're really, really good. And obviously Michael Pratt's really, really good. So it's a huge challenge. But, yes, if you can get the win, it presents a very clear path to get into the conference championship game. And it might be them you see again in the conference championship game. Mm-hmm. But it presents a very clear path to that championship game.
Yeah, the one thing about Pratt is that he had been banged up, missed a bunch of time early, was not available for the Ole Miss game, came back, played okay. Not great, but played okay, and then they had the bye week. So I don't know if that's good or bad, where Pratt now has more time to make sure he's close to 100%, if not 100%. Or do you lose kind of the groove after coming back, having had all that time off, playing a game, and then having a bye week? You want to hope that you get that Michael Pratt is just a little bit off, because this dude is the real deal. But as you had mentioned in our conversation with Ryan, is Tajay Spears is gone. He's playing for the Tennessee Titans, and he is dynamic. And that dude was fantastic last season for the Tulane Green Wave and helping lead that team into the Cotton Bowl and a win in the Cotton Bowl. They still have some dynamic players, skill position players. Ryan talked about that offensive line. They're really, really good, and the great quarterback. But Tajay Spears, special player who they don't have anymore. So you're not going to replicate that. You may have some good players, but you're not going to replicate what Tajay Spears brings to the table. And the other thing is, Can Blake Watson, who wasn't with the team last year, be a difference maker running the ball against a team that just does not give up much running the ball? Can he be a difference maker?
UAB was able to run the ball. Nobody else has been able to run the ball against them, including Ole Miss. Ole Miss could not run the ball at all against this Tulane defensive front. Tulane was in their backfield constantly. Judkins was getting killed in that game. UAB was able to do it. No other team has gotten 100 yards against them. No other team's averaged 3 yards a carry against them this year. That defensive front has been dominant. Again, UAB was able to do it, and I didn't see any of that game. I don't know how they were able to do it, if any of that was tacked on late or what. But the other games, nobody's been able to run the ball against Tulane.
Well, coaches are stubborn, right? They want it their way because they feel that their scheme is better than the other team's scheme, and they're macho as well. So they want to go at them mano-y-mano. But this might be one of those situations where we see Tim Cramsey and his offense pull out his old bag of tricks and use everything but the kitchen sink, because maybe that's the way to keep Tulane on their toes and keep them a little bit off balance, is by a little trickery. Because if you just want to play smash mouth football, normally you're going to come up on the wrong side against Tulane. Let's see if they want to do a little bit something different. Of course, it's whatever the defense gives you. That's what you're going to take advantage of, or you hope to take advantage of. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see a little trickery coming Friday night from the Memphis offense. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, hour 2 of the program. An old friend, Randy Fichtner, is going to join us. Former Memphis Tiger offensive coordinator, went on to the NFL, where he was the OC with the Pittsburgh Steelers for a number of years. Now retired, living the good life. We'll talk to Randy about what he's up to, the NFL, and then Jerry Palm at 8:25 on college football. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Fall time, game time, food time, fun time. It's all Dave and Buster's time. Watch the game at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway, and get $4 pints all day, every day. Plus $5 appetizer bites all day, every day. Join the fun and games after 4 p.m. every Monday and Thursday and get all-you-can-eat wings. All at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway. Fall is here, and that means games, food, and fun at Dave & Buster's.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis. Jewelry guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones you can imagine, and you'll find a vast selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage, and they'll put a smile on her face. With our 5 decades of experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece. The piece that says, I love you. For 38 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still running slower than normal on 40 westbound. Coming across the bridge as you head over towards West Memphis. I've been up there doing some road work this morning. Again, it's had traffic slow. Hopefully that'll clear up sooner than later. But again, it's still heavy on 40 west across the bridge towards Crittenden County, towards West Memphis. Traffic's on the increase now. Finally, coming up from the south, 55 northbound from DeSoto County all the way into South Haven. Weimer's Jewelry's back open, 7525 Highway 64. Come by and see him today at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:03 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you on this Wednesday, October 11th, 2023. Happy Hump Day to you. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. The world's biggest spa sale continues at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently, partly cloudy skies, 63 degrees. We're looking at a high today of 81, mostly cloudy. Tonight, mainly clear skies with a low of 57. Second hour of the program is brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. The holidays are rapidly approaching. You're thinking about something special for that special someone in your life, maybe several special someones. Think James Gaddis Jewelers. And check this out. I've talked about this for a couple of years now. They can customize jewelry. They can make it to your specifications. They can provide a free 3D rendering of what it will look like in a couple of days. So bring in an old family heirloom and watch what they can do to it at James Gaddis Jewelers. You're looking for that special engagement ring, wedding rings, personally designed wedding sets. That's the place to go. But also for beautiful watches of all types, and they have so much variety. Bracelets, necklaces, earrings, pendants, gemstones of all types, custom-made jewelry, estate and vintage jewelry. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. Layaway and financing is available. They got a couple of repair experts there to help you with your fine watches and jewelry. A part of the Memphis staple for years and years now, decades in fact. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. We are very pleased to be joined by a friend of the show. You know him as the former Memphis Tigers offensive coordinator. Of course, many of you, especially you Steelers fans, know him as the longtime quarterbacks coach, then offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We are very pleased to be joined by our good friend Randy Fietner on the program. Randy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you all doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Okay, I want to set up this story for folks, and Randy will get a kick out of this. So a couple of weekends ago, when Memphis honored the 2003 New Orleans Bowl team before their game against Boise State, I was down on the field getting ready for our Tigers broadcast. And Danny Wimprine was over in a gaggle of players and faces. Some I recognized, some I didn't remember. But I needed to go to Danny to set up when we were going to have him on the air during one of the in-between periods. And so Danny's talking to some dude. And some guy's gray hair. He's got a ponytail coming out of the back of his hat. And I'm like, well, I guess it's one of the fans. Or I didn't even think about it. I go up, and the guy turns around, and he says, "Hey, Greg." And I said, I seriously, I said, who are you? Randy Fietner. I could not believe it. And then I said, Coach, take your hat off and your glasses to prove it. And there he was. There was Coach Fietner right there with the long hair coming out of the back of his cap with the gray. And Coach, man, you're living the high life now, all retired and everything. You're letting things just flow, and good for you. You got a lot more hair than I do. I can tell you that much.
Well, I tell you, the last year that I spent in Pittsburgh was the COVID season. And so that whole year, we were pretty strict about, all the options you could do, which was basically home, work, testing in between, with the nose swab, like 270 sometimes a year. And so you didn't go get a haircut. You didn't do any of that. Well, it was interesting as the mask that I wore was kind of like a ski mask. They had them there, and it actually worked. So I used it on game day, and so I would do media every Thursday. I would do different interview things that I had to do for my weekly, chores, if you will, and no one knew the whole year that I hadn't cut my hair. Well, then at the end of the thing, I retired, and now I'm done. And I come down to Florida, and I'm with family, and the next thing you know, I haven't got my hair cut since. So I've just got to let it go, and I can honestly say I probably had the longest hair in the family of all my girls, and all that.
I'm like, who is this hippie? It's Coach Fietner. My gosh! But it was great to see you, and I know you must have gotten a kick out of seeing all the gang from the 2003 team. There was a lot of people there. I know everybody couldn't be there, but there were a lot of players and some coaches that were there before that Boise State game.
Well, I'll tell you what was exciting and I didn't know all the details. I had caught some of the details from some of the guys. I see them when they come down. A lot of the guys stay in touch. So I heard, and then next thing you know, a couple things happened. One, we've been back and forth to Memphis for weddings. It seems like it's wedding season this year for our family. So all my wife's family seems like they're getting married this year. So, matter of fact, we're heading back up this weekend. Anyways, I get there, and I didn't realize that there was a bunch of the 93 team there, too.
Oh, was there?
And so that kind of dated me because, Russell Copeland and Matt Cody and a bunch of the guys were there, Russell. And they were hanging out, and I'm out the tailgate. And it just felt like it was very cool to kind of see just the different years that I was actually there. And I tell you what, just so many faces, familiar faces, and just seeing guys that have done really well after school, and knowing that you helped recruit them or coach them maybe while they're there, or just have be a little part of their life during their time there. It's so cool.
Now I'm even more impressed that your wife's family's all getting married and you still haven't cut your hair. Like that is really impressive that you've been able to get away with this now. I mean, this is amazing stuff.
I know that, boys, Eli.
I haven't cut my hair either. It really works out well for me.
Eli hasn't cut his hair. Eli, you would not have known who it was either. I'm telling you, I'm not alone in this thing. You would have been shocked, absolutely shocked.
Do you miss the coaching at all? Like how has retirement been?
Well, I do and I don't. We're talking about weddings. Well, I mean, this might be the 5, 6, 7 maybe weddings in the last several years that I've been able to go to. Mm-hmm. I sadly a handful of funerals, including my father's, that I was able to.
Sorry to hear that.
Be a big part of, and just so many things that, quite honestly, I missed, and I never got to be really a part of. And thank goodness for my wife. You've met Jennifer many times. She was probably about as good as Coach's wife as you could possibly have, and I'm not afraid to say it. I mean, she just what you probably put up with not having you being around, and then picking up the mantle and actually doing and representing at whether it's an event or a birthday party or a like I said, a funeral or a wedding or just things like that really I just honestly wasn't really a part of.
Go ahead, Randy.
No, I mean, it just, and now to be a part of all that, to spend a little bit more time with the kids, just really fulfilling.
If financially all things were equal, and sometimes they are depending on which coaching job we're talking about in college, but if all things were equal, would you rather coach as an offensive coordinator football in college or in the NFL like you did? You did both.
Yeah, that's a good question because, to be honest, when Mike first offered me that job in 2007 with Pittsburgh, he actually prefaced it by saying, I don't think you're going to come. He didn't think I would take the job. I was at Memphis then. My feelings towards the city, towards the school. I've spent a lot of time there with a lot of good folks, and I'm really I like the area, and I root for the Tigers all the time, and so at that time, I kind of wanted to just keep staying in Memphis. It was it was an awesome opportunity to be there with Tommy, and some of the things that we were doing, we like to think maybe have paved the way now for a whole lot more victory, things like that. And I think that's what kind of that represented that day with that 2003 team being honored. Because you win a bowl game and maybe you just haven't had that in your, as a part of the Memphis football resume. And it's just pretty exciting. So I think if I had to do it all over again, I still think, the NFL is very challenging. It's a little different. You're not necessarily, you're not involved with any of the recruiting, which I kind of missed because I thought that was always something that I enjoyed. I thought it was exciting to go into other communities and to meet new people and to, formulate friendships that are going to last forever. And I mean forever. I mean, we're talking about Danny. You're talking about D'Angelo and some of these guys. I saw Steven Gostkowski and Dean Fredericks and just all these people. And you realize the impact that maybe slight you had while they were kind of youthful. And, it was exciting about the NFL was it's just kind of all football. And, you kind of, you put good hours in and it's very pressure packed, if you will. But that's not unlike good college football either. And I mean, so all that being equal, I just think there's a lot more opportunity in the NFL to potentially just keep it pure as football and not maybe potentially all the other. You think about these guys, they're, they got families. Some of them they're married, might even have children, multiple children. And it's their business. And so it's very professional on that end. And so the college football, it ends up being a lot of, working with young folks and all the things that do come up with young folks. And that means keep your phone on 24 hours because it could ring first in the morning. So, both were exciting to me. It would all depend on with who and where, because one of the things that I prided myself in just as I look back at my career of 37, 38, 9 years of coaching, it's about the who. It's about where, the people you're around. My feelings about Memphis, not being a graduate from there, not have taken classes there, is really, I feel like it's almost like my school, because I just had such great memories of the people and the people that I work with and the people that supported the program. From the Highland 100 to all the media to everyone there, it has always been my favorite stop. And so that's why I have the feelings I've had towards Memphis and the things they've done for my kids in school there and things like that. It's a special place. And so if you're talking about places, it would be Pittsburgh and Memphis. Then from there, I'd probably have to make the decision, it's professional football over college, especially today with all the different, the NIL and the transfer portals. And just, I can't imagine how much extra work is now. You have to do.
Oh gosh, yes.
So
I mean, that's tough.
You talk about the recruiting, going back to D'Angelo, and when you're recruiting D'Angelo, obviously you think he's a really good player, and you want him and everything else. When you got him and he came here, I mean, did you have any idea that you're talking about a guy who would end up in the College Football Hall of Fame? Like, what did you think D'Angelo was when he first came in here?
Well, oh man, I don't know that you'd ever think that all those things are going to happen. But it's interesting because the first words out of his mouth the other day when I saw him were, he told me that I told him all this was going to happen.
You probably did.
Yeah. I mean, and I remember talking to D'Angelo about the uniqueness of Memphis, the proximity to home, the I guess being at the highest level of Memphis football history is potential for him. We did talk about he could be the best running back in the history of the school, and I did that basically just not out of disrespect to anyone who played before, but the idea that if you looked on paper, it could be done. It just the numbers were right, and so I think a lot of the things just happened. But he made them happen, and he was so talented. The day that happened, I'll never forget. We were. It's funny because I think our son had a church basketball game out in Collierville. It was a Saturday, and remember, D'Angelo went back, and he didn't sign on signing day. He waited 2 more weeks, and he actually went and visited unofficially Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Memphis one more time. And he came to a basketball game in Memphis the week, a couple days prior to him making his final decision. And so he was down there, Coach Cal. We were down at the Pyramid. And so he came over, unofficially watched the game, left. I remember shaking his hand thinking, man, just that he came over here to take one more look, and he's going to make a decision this next week. I just felt really good about what we did to that point. Now, whether or not we were going to get him or not, that was going to be a tall task.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to turn down your home state school, and I get it. So I'm sitting there at a basketball game. It was a Saturday morning. I'll never forget this. We were in Collierville, and I get a text, and it says, it should be there. And I'm like, what? It should be where? What? I don't even know what you're talking about. He had faxed in his national letter of intent, signed to the University of Memphis, and sent it to the fax. So when I run in the office, there's no paper in the fax. There's nothing in the tray. And I'm like, oh, no, he didn't send it. It was curled up on the floor, and I found it sitting on the floor with a couple other must have came in.
Oh, man.
I called Tommy West and said, Tommy, it's actually in my hand. He's coming to the University of Memphis. So it was an unbelievable day. I'll never forget that.
Well, it'll go down as one of the greatest recruiting coups ever in the history of this program. I mean, again,
probably.
How about this? And I know we're short on time, Randy, and I do want to get your thoughts real quick on what's going on in the NFL. But if the NIL was around when you were doing this, the chances of getting D'Angelo probably were very minimal. And if you did get him, the chances of him staying for his entire career would probably be null and void. Wouldn't you agree?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think, times are changing, and you know what? D'Angelo was a unique individual. He understood the impact that he was having. And what's unique to me is his love of Memphis, the city, and the school. Really, every year just kept growing and growing. I think it's one thing to that's my school, and man, I went there and I did good, and it propelled me to the NFL. No, it's more than that with D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than that. He made it more when he kept deciding he's going to stay in school.
Right.
When he kept flipping the hat towards Memphis instead of the NFL. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, even hey, Tommy West told him to go. I sat right here. I sat with him, and Tommy said, "You have to go, D'Angelo." And even with all that, after he decided he was going to go, he still couldn't go. Now, I didn't stop recruiting, but no,
It's a great story.
Yeah.
It's like, look, it'll go down as, when you look at the annals of history of Memphis football, it's right up there at the top. Randy Fiedner joining us, former Memphis Tigers offensive coordinator and longtime Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. All right, short on time. Can anybody beat the 49ers this year, or are they going to run away with this thing?
Oh, man. I mean, I just know this. I think Pittsburgh was a good tell early in the year. You know, it's interesting. People said, "Oh man, Pittsburgh, what's wrong with Pittsburgh? What's wrong with Pittsburgh?" Well, a good San Francisco team, maybe the best team, top to bottom, came into Pittsburgh, played well that day, and they beat you. Now, flip that. Now they're at home last week, playing probably one of the top 5 teams in the league, and it's not a game. Now, you don't see that much in the NFL. So it'd be hard to say they're not one of the top 2 teams or 3. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't have a good chance this year to maybe do well in the playoffs and maybe get to the ultimate goal. But, and they travel so well too. It's very rare in Pittsburgh that you see other color. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of other color there. And that's, that's this big machine that's starting to pick itself back up. If you remember back when Montana and they were all there.
Gosh.
I mean,
who can forget?
They were very good. I used to have these discussions with Ben all the time because Ben's favorite team when he was growing up were the 49ers because that was kind of when they were winning, and Montana and all that. So they could be really good. I mean, well, they're really good, but they could be that special team this year. Hard to see anybody run the table in that league. It's just so difficult, and injuries and the season length.
Yeah, 17 games now in the regular season.
Oh,
so,
yeah. I mean that's tough. If you had to give up a loss or two, give them up, then learn from it. Hopefully, you don't get guys injured. Move on. The key to the NFL is still win your division first. Guarantee yourself a home playoff game. Mm-hmm. That gets you one step closer to potentially fulfilling your dreams at the end of, in February.
Yeah.
So, that was division dominance was always the thing that Coach Tomlin talked about. It's what we understood as a team in Pittsburgh. It's what they still understand as a team in Pittsburgh because, to be honest, they're a game and a half in first place in their division, and they've won 2 division games already. They're 2-0 in their division and 4-0 in their conference. So, I mean, it doesn't get any better.
They got a pretty good history. You know that firsthand.
Yeah.
Well, between you going to all your weddings, let's do this again here very soon, Randy, so we can talk more about the NFL and break it down. But it is always great. It was great reminiscing and going back to that 2003 New Orleans Bowl team. What a year it was. What a time it was for Memphians. And you were a big part of that. So thank you so much, sir.
That was fun.
And get a haircut, all right?
No, that's not going to happen. I've got a feeling.
Thanks, Coach.
The next time it cuts, it's not coming back. So take the pictures now.
Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much, Randy.
All right.
Thanks, Randy.
Bye-bye.
Randy Fiedner, former Memphis Tigers offensive coordinator, longtime Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks coach, and offensive coordinator as well. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, great lunch option today, or dinner as well. Of course, any time is a good time for Corky's. You can dine in at any of their 4 establishments. You can drive through that no-contact delivery, have them deliver through the services like DoorDash or any of the other ones to your home or your office. Many different ways to get that barbecue. They've been serving up that delicious slow-smoked barbecue for nearly 40 years, and they've been catering the entire time they've been in existence. So if you have something coming up, no matter how small or how large, Call Corky's or stop by Corky's and ask them about their catering services. When you head over for lunch or dinner today, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $6.99 when you purchase an entree, maybe their barbecue sandwich or pulled pork plate, maybe their award-winning catfish plate. Party pack starting at just $7.49. Lunch specials every single day. 4 locations in the Mid-South: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. And ask about their private party room. You can reserve time in their private party room for a birthday, an anniversary, whatever's coming up in your life. Give them a call. That's the Cordova and the Olive Branch locations only. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Next up, Jerry Palm to talk some college football. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, October 21st, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications and interviewing candidates on site. Salary starting at $54,611, increasing to $60,713 after probation. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
I feel good shopping at DriveMax. DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's finally starting to look a little bit better out here as they finish up some road work on 40 westbound across the bridge, headed over towards West Memphis. It's starting to bunch up a little bit with some volume now on 40 westbound as you approach Sycamore View Road, getting on that 240 flyover, 385 Billmores Parkway coming in from Collierville. Still looks pretty good, at least at the moment. Hey, enjoy Smoky Mountain Fall Festival this year. It's going on now at Ober-Gatlinburg through the end of the month. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. Always great to reminisce with our good friend Randy Fiedner, and it's always great to talk to one Jerry Palm.
It's time for Sports 56 Mornings Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer and bracketologist for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
Jerry Palm from CBSSports.com joins us every single Wednesday during both the college football and basketball seasons. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. JP, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got a fun topic for today's 5 favorite things. And again, I remind you folks to get your lists in. 5 favorite television moms. Your 5 favorite TV moms. All right, let's rock it. What do you got?
Yeah, I had a long list to work with. I mean, there's a lot. All right, number 5, Peg Bundy from Married with Children.
She's number 5?
Number
Okay.
5. Number 4, Thelma Harper from Mama's Family. That was Vicki Lawrence. That actually started on the Carol Burnett show and then became its own show. Number 3, Carol Brady. Number 2, Morticia Addams.
Ooh.
And number 1, Marion Cunningham from Happy Days.
Okay. Morticia Addams. I don't know, man. She was like a deadbeat mom, man. She didn't help those kids out.
Well, but that's who they are.
What are the services called when they come to check on your kids, the welfare of the children?
Yeah, DCFS.
Yeah. They should have been there checking out Morticia. And what was the...
Probably wouldn't have lived to tell the tale.
What was the husband's name?
John, I think.
No, that's in real life. That's his name.
No. That's right. That's the actor, John Astin.
Yeah. God, what's his name, man? Morticia and whatever. Oh, well, somebody will know. Somebody will text it in.
Yeah.
So I had no idea, and I should have known this. I didn't know you were doing a bunch of predictions as far as like point spreads and things like that nature.
I've been doing that for probably 5 or 6 years.
Have you been doing it for that long? I didn't even realize that. So I was looking at some of the predictions for this week, because this week the schedule's it's okay.
Yeah.
But that Oregon-Washington game, I can't wait to see what'll happen in that one.
Yeah.
Most people believe it'll be a shootout, a lot of points, it'll go over.
Yeah.
What do you think? Who do you think will come out with the dub?
I picked Washington at home. It's hard not to go with the home team on even matchups, and that's a pretty even matchup. Both teams have both been great this year. In fact, you could really make a case for either one of them to be number 1 right now. I mean, that's how good they've been. But it's they're both great offensive teams. They've been pretty good defensive teams. It's just hard to hold teams offenses like that down. It just is. So I don't know the over-under number off the top of my head, but if it's in the 60s, I'm going over.
Gomez Adams.
Yeah.
Gomez.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Gomez, of course, yeah.
So, Jerry, if Texas and Oklahoma were to meet in the Big 12 championship game and Texas got a close win there, do you think that would give them, and they end up both with 1 loss, do you think that would give Texas the nod because of a conference championship and a win at Alabama?
Yes, exactly. The conference championship is actual criteria for the selection committee. Now, they don't weigh it heavily. They're not picking the 4 best conference champions, as we have seen, but that is definitely a thing. So all else being equal, if Texas were to win the second matchup, the conference championship would more or less then be the tiebreaker. But also that win at Alabama, that's a big deal too, because Oklahoma does not have a non-conference game of that caliber.
So if you looked at the possibilities, and I know this is down the road some, but let's say Oregon, Washington, they end up playing again in the championship. Can they? Do they still got the divisions? How's that work out in the Pac-12?
No. It's the top 2 teams.
Yeah.
Okay. So they could.
Yeah.
So they could meet. Let's say they met in the championship game. Let's say Washington wins this one, Oregon wins in the championship game. Let's say Michigan and Ohio State, same deal. Michigan.
No, that's not the same deal because they still have divisions this year. So Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, all in the same division.
Okay.
Play each other once. So it can't happen in the Big Ten.
Okay, so if all right, so that would kind of take them out of the mix. I'm thinking if Michigan, Ohio State, that loser, right, doesn't have a chance to get that win back.
They don't have a chance to even get to 12-1.
Yeah, they're on the outside looking
11-1.
Because in my scenario, Oregon-Washington, you would think that the winner of the Pac-12 championship would get the upper hand even if they lost to that same team during the regular season.
Yeah.
And you would think they'd have an advantage over Michigan, Ohio State loser because that team would not even win their division. Okay.
Probably.
All right.
Most likely. The only thing that goes for Ohio State, they'd have a win over Penn State in that scenario, and that's obviously a very good team. And Maryland could be a 9-win team.
And a win over Notre Dame, even though Notre Dame's not
and
great.
Notre Dame in non-conference play, and that could be a 9 or 10-win team. So their schedule's going to be good, but I don't think that helps them with. It might help them with Oklahoma. It doesn't help them with the Pac-12, which is strong. Got like 8 good teams in that league. So that league is strong enough that won't help Ohio State.
The thing too and I think we talked about this last week, that it's a little different with Texas, Oklahoma, because both games are on neutral sites. Those other ones you're talking about, one of them will have either one on a road game or whatever, those types of things. There's a home road factor that Texas, Oklahoma will have played twice, but both on neutral fields.
Right. Yeah. Ohio State is at Michigan this year. The top 3 teams play each other, one at home, one on the road.
And to me, it's weird. I mean, Michigan's really good. They're doing exactly what they should do, but
Michigan has been dominant.
They're not playing anybody till the month of November.
True.
So it's so bizarre.
But they are playing teams. They are handling teams like that way a team of Michigan's caliber should.
No, there's no doubt. You could make it. People will say, "Well, they could very well be number one." And again, they're taking care of those, but. I don't know. It's just they're just weird because we have to wait so long to see them play a team, a good team.
Yeah. And in fact, that was true of Georgia until last week. They didn't play anybody, and then kind of going through the motions. But Michigan is. In fact, I'm pretty sure Michigan has yet on defense had a situation where the offense had first and goal,
which is insane.
That is insane. That nobody's taken a snap inside the Michigan 10-yard line yet this year.
Yeah, it's you brought up Georgia, and I was also wondering whether or not they've taken a step down, even though they're undefeated, but maybe not as strong as the last 2 years. And I think that's pretty obvious. Those two teams were just special, but this could be another special year. It doesn't mean they can't win it all. And what I saw them do to Kentucky makes me think that they were kind of sleepwalking through some of the earlier games. They were kind of bored. I have already declared Georgia is getting into the playoff, and in my opinion, Georgia and Michigan are in. You can tell me who the other two are. I will go to the bank right now that Georgia and Michigan are 2 of the 4 playoff teams. I am sold on Georgia.
Barring some significant injury issues, those teams are going to be hard to beat. And even, within their league, there's some good teams in those leagues, but those 2 teams just look better than everyone else.
Who do you have right now?
Especially Michigan so far. For 3 and 4, I have Florida State and Texas. And the Texas scenario that you just described. That's exactly why I have Texas still in the college football playoff, because I expect the scenario that you described.
Do they win the championship game?
They win the championship, beat Oklahoma again, and that they're 12-1 conference champion. And I don't have a 1-loss Pac-12 champion because I think those guys are just going to beat each other up too much.
And it continues to do Texas well if that Alabama continues to win now.
Right.
If Alabama keeps winning these games, that just helps Texas.
8-4 Alabama doesn't help Texas much. Not as much as 11-2 Alabama would.
Where does the ACC stand in all of this? Because it looks like it's an improved conference. There's more parity,
at least at
certainly.
The top, it is.
Well, there's 5 or 6 teams, right, that look like they're capable now. Miami doing what they did. I mean, that's ludicrous what happened in that game. I mean, I just feel so bad for the players.
That's like a fireable offense.
That's what I said.
Apparently, that's not even the first time something like that happened.
Exactly. I mean, it's ridiculous.
In Oregon, not the exact same thing because he couldn't have run the clock all the way out, but still chose not to.
Right.
And
Same thing. He doesn't kneel. He does not kneel. They haven't kneeled down this year.
I bet you he'll kneel from now on. I guarantee if he's in that scenario.
He didn't learn the lesson the first time.
Well, yeah, but I don't remember. Was he scrutinized like he is now? I mean, this like we're talking about fireable offense. But anyway, what do you think right now? You have, obviously, Florida State. You have them in your playoff. They look terrific. North Carolina, undefeated. Drake May, quarterback, look really good. Louisville, I don't know how good they are, but they're 6-0. Clemson still has a pulse.
About them is, about Louisville, is it's a Jeff Brom team doing it more with defense than offense.
Right.
Because their quarterback, Jack Plummer, he had a good game against Notre Dame, but he's mistake-prone still. Every once you watch Louisville play, and Plummer will be going along great, and then all of a sudden, he'll do like two things that make you scratch your head during a game. So he's not the most reliable quarterback. But the funny thing about those three teams are all undefeated, don't play each other.
I know.
They
How
could
is that
all
even possible?
Finish 12-0. They could all finish 12-0.
So who do you think will end up being in the ACC championship game?
I don't know. You have to get to I don't really know what you'd have to go way down a tiebreaker list because I think there's probably record against common opponents, but I think but they will have won all those games. I mean, that's the thing. It probably come down to some sort of ranking system to pick the two teams. Somebody's rankings, not the BCS probably, but some other. Well, it could be the BCS rankings. The most recent BCS rankings could choose. But yeah, you're going to leave a 12-0 team out of a conference championship game.
That's crazy.
Just nuts. And you know what? That kind of thing will be more possible as these conferences get bloated and you play fewer teams, a fewer percentage of teams than your own league.
By the way, are you saying that their quarterback Plummer has cracks? I'm here all week.
I don't think I would say that. No, it sounds like something you would say, though.
And he did.
Who do you have right now as the Group of 5 representative in New Year's Six games?
Tulane. I think it's Tulane or the Mountain West champion. I like Fresno State. I didn't like them after they lost to Wyoming. They could have lost to someone else. I think it's still. And Wyoming's a tough place to play, and they're not a bad team. But I don't think that's a game Fresno State can afford to lose. But we'll see, because the thing is that Tulane's losses is Ole Miss, and they're ranked. And if they remain ranked, Wyoming's not going to finish in the rankings. So, it's. I think that one hurts Fresno State's chances. But we'll see what happens.
But Air Force has Wyoming this week, and Air Force is undefeated, right? Yeah, and Air Force is undefeated, so don't count out Air Force. And what about Liberty? What about the chances? What about the chances of Liberty?
The schedule's just not going to.
Okay.
Liberty could finish actually undefeated, and I don't think they'd get it over a one-loss Tulane or a one-loss Mountain West champ.
What about a two-loss champ?
Oh, well, that'd be different. Yeah, okay. I mean, once you start getting multiple losses, then Liberty could have a chance. Liberty's they don't have the schedule, to really compete. Conference USA is, that's just not much there in terms of quality games in the league. They didn't really get quality games outside the league, so it's really hard to make much of a case for Liberty.
So how about if Memphis pulls off the upset? They're 4.5-point dog, but they have beaten Tulane at home 8 straight times. They've never lost to them in this century. Doesn't mean much, obviously, history. All that matters is this year's teams. But if Memphis wins that game, they go to 5-1 with what would it end up being, a 1-touchdown loss at Mizzou. Where would they be looking right now if Memphis can win that game?
12-1. They probably have to finish 12-1.
Right.
So, if they can do that, then they're certainly in play. There's no question.
I mean, they have a schedule that's really advantageous. That's asking an awful lot to not have a slip up. If they win this game, you got SMU, but you got them at home, and then the rest of the games are they're all winnable. I mean, you look at the schedule. They got Charlotte, they got Temple, they have USF, they have UAB. They're all winnable games, but that's asking an awful lot to run through it if they get by this one Friday night.
And Memphis has been my pick for second in the league behind Tulane from the beginning. So,
really?
I think they're capable. Yeah.
You got them in the military bowl, I think, right
now. I
do.
Yeah.
Playing Air Force.
Yeah. Yeah. It's here's the thing, especially when it comes to the Group of 5 bowls. Unless your champion's tagged to a bowl specifically, anything could happen. So in that case, I'm actually trying to get Memphis a game that a team with its projected record merits. And ESPN televises all these games, all but maybe the Sun Bowl. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
So they move teams around sometimes outside of conference.
Yeah.
Like last year, they took Baylor outside of a Big 12 bowl because they wanted a matchup, and so there are contracts and there are matchups that are tied to bowls, and most 98% of the time that's going to happen. But then every once in a while, ESPN just throws something random out there, especially on the bowls that are at the bottom end. Like the military is a bottom end ACC bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had trouble getting enough ACC teams eligible, so I've thrown bottom ACC teams in there, which I don't like for Memphis. But this week I didn't have enough, and so I thought I was going to take advantage of it. ESPN has some flexibility with this game. Let's get a really good Air Force team and a really good Memphis team and make a good game out of it.
All right, real quick, Notre Dame or USC? Who do you got? Pick him.
SC.
SC to beat Notre Dame. All right.
Yeah.
It's
like 48-44.
Oh, my gosh. He's the one and only Jerry Palm. What's that?
That's USC. That's what they do.
Their defense
is the same. Them at LSU. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to give up a lot of points.
I'm just wondering about Notre Dame. He is Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. Check out his latest bowl projections. Follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. And, of course, catch him every Wednesday talking both college football and basketball right here on Sports 56 Mornings.
Pretty soon.
JP, have a great week. Yeah, pretty soon.
Yep.
Take care of yourself.
You too.
All right. When we come back, last night was the induction ceremonies into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. One guy who wasn't present, but he did a video of his acceptance speech. It's a guy by the name of Hubie Brown, who's meant an awful lot to the Memphis fans, sports fans, Grizzlies fans in particular, and an unbelievable speech. We're going to play that for you when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none. Commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The Memphis Sports Hall of Fame grew last night with the induction of the class of 2023, which included the likes of the late, great Jack Eaton, former Memphis Tigers women's basketball star Tamika Whitmore, and many, many others. Also on that list, Allie Prescott, who was honored at the very field, AutoZone Park, that he helped build over 20 years ago, and the great Hubie Brown, the former head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, former NBA Coach of the Year. Here is what he had to say about his induction into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame.
I would first like to thank the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame for this incredible honor. But I'd also like to bring in the people that made it possible. And that was the owner, Mike Heisley, who moved the franchise from Vancouver to Memphis. He then went and got the best general manager in the NBA, Jerry West, to leave the Lakers and come to Memphis. Then Jerry West convinced an old-timer at 70 years of age to come out of retirement with the idea that the team is 0-8 in the new season. And then we have 2 days off of practice on Wednesday and Thursday. You could put in everything, and then you'll be playing a game against Minnesota on Friday night. Miraculously, we put together an outstanding teaching staff, and then backed up with the offense, defense, and then the accountability factor with the players. We only win 28 games that first year, but starting 0-8, it was a bonus. Over the summer, Jerry West did it all. He brings Mike Miller and Bonzi Wells to the two-guard position. He picks up James Posey as a small forward to play with Battier, and then he picks up Bo Outlaw as a backup to Lorenzen Wright and Pau Gasol, a young Pau Gasol. Now, what happens? Year 2, with the third youngest team in the league, franchise never winning more than 28 games, 22 before we got together. Just think about this, 50 wins. We were in the top 6 teams in the league. We made the playoffs. And then a night that I still get goosebumps, in the Pyramid, Game 3 versus San Antonio. We're down 2, we shoot a 3, and as the buzzer goes off, the ball goes down into the basket and pops out. We lose, but that's okay. Because the people, I can still hear the roar. There were over 20,000 people in the Pyramid, and it was standing room only. The cheers at the end of that game for those players was still ringing in my ears for days. We loved you, Memphis. My family was treated extremely well, and then the players played to their best. It was a bonanza, but I accept this on behalf of Heisley, West, and also the players. Thank you.
Hubie, part of that class, the class that all went in last night, Allie Prescott, Elmer Rohn, Hubie Brown, Jack Eaton, Richard Mulrooney, Sheila Eccles-Gross, Tamika Whitmore, Marion Brewer, Phil Clark, Sharon Watson, and Sylvester Ford, the complete class that was inducted last night into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. So congratulations to all of them, and certainly was not able to go, but very nice ceremony, it looks like, once again. And Good to see. I love the fact that they have that Memphis Sports Hall of Fame now, and it's some of these great to see these names that continue to go in.
It's a heck of a class, and of course, it's not been around that long, so these classes are going to be loaded with big-time names from the world of sports here in Memphis. And yeah, long time coming when they finally decided to do this. It was a great decision. And again, these classes for many years are going to be star-studded.
Fleet Feet is the place to go to get all your running gear. You want to make sure you get shoes just right for you. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet. They'll take good care of you. They take a look at the way you run or the way you walk, and they will fit you with shoes perfect for you, so you can avoid injuries or any other issues. Plus, they've got everything else that you need to get out there running. We're not too far away, just a couple of months. It'll be marathon time here in Memphis, and I know a lot of folks will be running. You want to make sure you're prepared. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet, located in the Laurelwood Shopping Center in East Memphis, out in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee next to Huey's, online, fleetfeetmemphis.com. That's where you'll find them, at Fleet Feet.
All right, the hits keep coming. When we come back for hour number 3, we'll be talking Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. And then 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite television moms. Get your lists in. You can do so via the Sports 56 listener lines by texting in your list at 901-360-8255 or send it via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or send it to the website sportsmemphis.com. That's coming up in hour 3. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The 4-1 Memphis football team is home Friday, October 13th at 6 o'clock for a huge conference matchup against Tulane for first place in the conference. It's wrestling night. Enjoy the matches on Tiger Lane and meet and greet with the wrestlers inside the stadium. Tickets start at just $20 to watch this big-time conference matchup. Be at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium Friday, October 13th at 6 o'clock. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
National PA Week is October 6th through 12th, so here are a few fast facts about PAs. Board-certified physician assistants are trusted healthcare providers who practice everywhere, from rural health clinics to downtown city hospitals, and do everything from routine checkups to assisting in complex surgery. PAs are dedicated to providing top-notch care to over 10 million patients every week, including you and your family. Discover more at PAsDoThat.net, sponsored by the NCCPA.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of holiday joy at the Home Depot, where you can find everything you need to get ready for the holiday season, like all new festive outdoor decor, Spread more joy this season with bigger, bolder, and brighter inflatables from the Home Depot, like our exclusive new 8-foot animated Santa and reindeer inflatable for just $149. Available in-store and online. Get holiday ready right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Traffic's running a little bit slow as we check it out live on 40 westbound at Chambers Chapel as all that traffic comes in right now from Fayette County out there around 269. Again, I see some flashing lights over here. Not sure if it's an accident or road work related. Again, a little bit of a slowdown. 40 westbound as you come past 269 in from Fayette County. Still moving right now on 240 up by Mill Branch. Hey, enjoy Smoky Mountain Fall Festival now through the end of the month at Ober-Gatlinburg. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Power is everything.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. 9:03 the time, hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 65 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Those clouds will give way to a partly cloudy day, a little bit of sun, a little bit of clouds with a high of 81. Then tonight, mainly clear skies with a low of 57 degrees. If you missed some of our interviews earlier and included one with Coach Ryan Silverfield of the Tigers, we'll post that for you on the website, sportsmemphis.com. You can just go to featured audio and listen to what Ryan Silverfield had to say about the big matchup Friday night, 6 o'clock at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium between the Tigers and the Tulane Green Wave. We also talked in hour number 1 about the Memphis Grizzlies, who were back in action last night, beating the Bucks 108-102 in preseason game number 2. And it being Wednesday means the time to talk extensively about the Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
We talk Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole every single Wednesday all year long. You can read him at the Commercial Appeal. I suggest you do. You can follow him on Twitter at Michael C. I suggest you follow him. And he joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. How are you, my friend?
What's going on, Greg? How we doing?
Doing good. I know you're in your element now. There's actual games, even though they're preseason games. I understand that, but lots to talk about, lots to dissect. Before we actually talk about the team itself, you did have another great story about the Ja 1 sneakers and about the local schools, not just local schools, but maybe even nationally. This brand is really catching fire, and that includes the University of Memphis. So what is it about the Ja 1s that's sparking interest with the colleges?
Man, it's a lot. I mean, for one, it's Ja's, marketability. From him being a star NBA player, we see it everywhere we go. When we go to New York, when we go to L.A., when we go to, D.C., all these different cities, when Ja Morant comes out to warm up, the kids are all screaming his name. There's always a big contingency just waiting on him, to come out to warm up. So there's that. In itself, just his marketability as a player. But most of the reviews that I've heard on the shoes have been good. A lot of athletes are really enjoying them. And referencing the story that you mentioned that I wrote, I talked to, like some U of M volleyball players who they were gifted, John 1 sneakers, and then it was the Radford, men's basketball team, the Murray State men and women's basketball team, and then there's Mississippi Valley State where his little sister, Nia Morant, goes. She plays on the women's basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
They were gifted, the Halloween Jawans, which I think the public doesn't even have access to yet. It's been a lot of that lately, and basically with all those schools, there's a connection to John Morant, and as we've seen, throughout his journey up to this point, wherever there's a connection to him, he tends to show a lot of love. That he's been very clear on his loyalty and things of that nature, and this is another way I think we've seen Josh showcase it. Gifting shoes to like Radford, where one of the assistant coaches is one of his former assistant coaches, at Murray State. So that's the connection to Radford. We know about the connection to Murray State. I just mentioned the connection to Mississippi Valley State, and the Memphis one, is self-explanatory.
Yeah, I was Radford was the one that I didn't know, and I was going to ask you about that. I was like, when I read this, I was like, why Radford? But
the hope is, I would imagine, that it becomes, not only is he gifting because of his connections, but if it's a sneaker that players, basketball players, athletes of all sorts really enjoy competing in those sneakers, that perhaps maybe it becomes this national. I'm not saying it's going to overpass past Air Jordan, but your Kobe's, your Jordans, whatever. Then it becomes your Pennies. It becomes one of those brands that a lot of people outside of his connections are using.
Yeah, Jacob Gilliard, who's one of the NBA players, has been wearing his shoes a lot lately. And, plays with the Grizzlies. We were talking the other day, and he was telling me that he thinks that Ja has the best sneaker out right now. And before I could say anything else, he said, "I'm not saying this just because he's my teammate. If he wasn't he didn't say if he wasn't his teammate. He said that I'm not saying this just because he's my teammate. He said if the shoes were bad, I would tell him." He's like. But he has worn exclusively John 1 sneakers. I know David Roddy is another player that's worn, and it's going beyond Grizzlies. When we see Dylan Brooks, wearing the John 1s, and then we see T.J. McConnell in the game against the Pacers, first preseason game, right. On T.J. McConnell's feet. He had on John 1. So I think that the word is getting out a little bit around the NBA. You're starting to see more players, test them out. We saw Contavious Caldwell-Pope wear them last season, late in the playoffs for the Denver Nuggets, for a couple games. Kind of looked like he was just testing them out. But Ja has the respect of the guys. He has the marketability. And now it's just, we'll see where the shoe goes from here.
So a couple of preseason games in the books now. We did see Steven Adams in the first game. We saw Luke Kennard start in the first game. We saw Zaire Williams start the game last night. Overall, what have you taken out of the two preseason games you've seen so far?
The main thing for me is, I think Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane have kind of solidified their roles as the two guys who will need to be prominent players on both ends. It's not just the offensive end. We've seen how they both taking their games. It looks like they're doing more. Like Desmond Bane, we see the inside out already. But the playmaking, this past game, 21, 5, and 5 in limited minutes is really good stuff. And then Jaren Jackson Jr., we're seeing him, operate more from the perimeter, off the dribble. Well, he's going to get fouled a lot. He's 6'7", 260, moving like that. Guys are going to have no choice but to foul him. He's understanding when he got mismatches. He's been efficiently shooting, three-point shots lately. So those two guys are kind of asserting themselves as, look, Ja's out. We are the guys who can average 20-plus points, and we're going to do that. That's what they look like at this point. I like defensively, certain guys are standing out. I think Zaire Williams in the second game really played well defensively. David Roddy gives you something there as well. Steven Adams and his presence in the first game really stood out to me. 5 rebounds for him in, I think, like 12 minutes. Didn't even play the second half. So he's right on par for the course for the way that he performs, rebounding, setting screens and things like that. Derrick Rose has looked good. I know scoring-wise, and that's what I think. This is why I think Derrick Rose is a good addition, on the court as much as off the court, because the first game, it was scoring. It was the 13 points. I think he shot 6 of 8 from the field. I think he only had 2 assists in that game. This game, only shot 1 of 5 from the field. But guess what? 7 assists, still team high, plus minus, and he's still being effective. So I think this is kind of what you can see, envision from Derrick Rose when he's having an off-night scoring, because we got to be honest with ourselves. He is 35, and his body isn't going to respond the same way for every single game. He's going to have some off nights, shooting-wise, scoring-wise, but his ability to facilitate, play make, and make his teammates better will kind of keep him on the floor. So those are some of the things that stood out for me through 2 preseason games.
As you know, Taylor Jenkins said he was going to mix up lineups, starting lineups, rotations during this preseason to kind of get a feel how different combinations work, and he has done just that through the first 2 games. Of course, yesterday you did not have the services, as we mentioned, of Steven Adams. Marcus Smart was out again, so there were guys maybe deep on that bench that ended up getting some playing time. But for the most part, the big story going in, well, I think one of them was answered with Steven Adams. Knock on wood, he stays healthy, because we know how important he is. But the other one is who starts those first 25 games at the 3. And Kennard started game 1 of the preseason, then you had Zaire in game 2. Do you think that is still an ongoing question in Taylor's mind, or do you think he has an answer, that he knows what he's going to do?
I think he's leaning in a certain direction, but he's going to let the process play out. The process is the process. He said from day one that the Grizzlies are going to be this is going to be a slower process than last year. Remember, Santi started that first preseason game, and he ran with it. We didn't even get to see any other options, at the power forward spot, even though we went into media day last season. That was a big discussion, who was going to take that spot. But Santi got that opportunity, and that was all she wrote. Well, in this case, Luke Kennard's gotten his. Now we saw Zaire get his. I asked Taylor Jenkins, does he foresee any of those other guys, David Roddy, Jake LaRavia, potentially getting opportunities? And he gave, he did the little grin, and he said TBD. I think, to me, if just reading into being around Taylor Jenkins for as much time as I have at this point, usually when he gets secretive like that, he's probably leaning in a certain way and he doesn't want to say so. And if that's the case, then they probably got a clue.
But what's your guess? What's your guess which way he's leaning?
My guess is Zaire. Okay. That was the guy that I wrote about, as one who was kind of solidifying himself as standing out in the competition, early on in the practices because of his defensive ability. And if he plays defense like he did yesterday against the Bucks, I think all signs are going to point to him being that guy, because if you can start Zaire and he could be, serviceable, be a positive in that situation, it affords you the opportunity of bringing Luke Kennard off the bench and him being, that spark plug. If you start Luke Kennard, you don't have that guy off the bench that's going to score 10 points in 3 minutes. Sure, Derrick Rose can, but I'm talking about game to game. Game to game, you can get that from Luke Kennard. And it just, starting Zaire Williams kind of deepens you. It just gives the roster a little bit more flexibility. His defensive ability in the starting lineup takes a little bit of pressure off Desmond Bain, Marcus Smart. It would be nice for him to win it. And David Roddy can give you some of that same stuff, so I want to see if he's going to give, his shot as well. But right now, I think Zaire kind of, made a strong statement in that second game.
Do you should we expect to see Marcus Smart in any of the preseason games?
I think we will. But when that is, remains to be seen. But from what I was told, this injury is very minor. It's nothing serious, and he's not expected to miss any regular season action because of it. So with that being the case, in my mind, I think we can firmly say that we'll see him at some point in the preseason. I think it's important to see him in the preseason as much as anyone, because with his role, we're talking about a guy who's going to come in and get the primary ball handling role. Remember, Derrick Rose was just talking about how he's learning, where guys like the ball, who to pass the ball to in certain situations and things like that. Some guys like to shoot the corner three-pointer. Some guys like the wing three-pointer. Like, some guys are very good rolling to the basket. Some guys aren't. Like, Derrick Rose is learning all of that, amidst the game action. And I think Marcus Smart needs that same opportunity.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember what the Grizzlies shot game one against Indiana from three, but it was something like 21%.
21%.
Okay, so
yeah.
21%. They come back last night. They make 13 threes, but they shoot the ball 45 times from behind the arc. That's 28.9%. And Bain's playing, Kennard's playing, right? You got to figure Marcus Smart will help. John knocks him down. John knocks him down every once in a while. But is that a major concern, again, is the outside shooting and the consistent outside shooting?
Greg, so I was, how on social media your flashbacks from a year ago pop up. And one of my flashbacks that popped up on my Instagram story was 1 year ago. I posted a story from the Orlando Magic preseason game. And do you want to know what my headline in that story said?
What?
The headline in that story, 1 year ago today, it said, shooting struggles hurt Memphis Grizzlies in preseason loss against the Orlando Magic. You can pretty much take that whole thing verbatim and just change loss to win in the team they played. And, that's not to say that the team hasn't improved or they won't improve, because one thing that I want to mention is we talked about the offense changing, and they're implementing these new things and whatnot. But at the same time, Taylor Jenkins likes the shot that the Grizzlies are getting. I think from what I've seen, guys are missing decent looks.
They are.
Santi Aldama was 0 for 6 from three-point range in this last game. Kenneth Lofton Jr. was 0 for 5. They're getting decent looks. They're missing them. Now, Desmond Bain shot 4 of 6 in his last one. Luke Kennard is a guy who hasn't gotten going yet, and I don't think there's a person in Memphis, Tennessee that's worried about his three-point shooting. I mean, he can miss probably for the rest of the preseason, and when the lights come on, people will still probably expect Luke Kennard to hit. But to answer your question, I think there is some minor concern there, because you're depending on three-point shooting to improve in order for this new offense to work. Remember, the Grizzlies are thinking about going 5 out more. Xavier Tillman's going to shoot more three-pointers. He went 0-2 in this last game. Steven Adams will get the opportunity, being that they'll be 5 out. I'm sure he'll get some open looks. Whether he shoots them or not is up to him, but he has the green light, is what the coaches are saying. So at the end of the day, if you want this 5-out thing to work, if you want this whole emphasis on spacing to work, guys got to knock down the shot. So this offense is dependent on it. That's why I think the concern comes in. Like, if you're not making them in preseason, guys, when the season starts, other teams are going to say, okay, make me a believer, before they finally start respecting, this idea. It's like last season in the playoffs. I don't think the Grizzlies had a problem spacing the floor when Dylan Brooks was on the floor, but the Lakers just straight up said, he's got to make us a believer. And teams can do that against the Grizzlies, and if they do that this season, all this talk about spacing and new offense and stuff, it won't really matter, because they got to make shots.
Yeah, and certainly Santi at 0 for 6. That's a guy who you really, that's part of his game is making threes, and they're going to need him. Kenny Lofton Jr. is not going to shoot 5 threes in a game very often. So going 0 for 5. Laravia took 10. We'll see. Went 3 for 10. We'll see how many minutes he gets. Certainly, he's one of those guys you expect to be able to knock down shots. And if he's not able to do that, then minutes are probably going to be really hard to come by for Laravia.
Yeah, and that's what he's in the game for, right? He says it himself. He said he's the shooter. And we talked about his confidence. Remember, Jake LaRavia straight up said that he belongs in that conversation with Luke Kennard and Desmond Bain as shooters on the Grizzlies. Now, I'm not ready to go that far yet, because those aren't even just elite shooters on the Grizzlies. Those are elite NBA shooters. Period. So, being an elite shooter on the Grizzlies is one thing, but the whole league is another. But Jake LaRavia is, I think, in that gap. He's above those league average guys that the Grizzlies have. I say the Zaire Williams, David Roddy, John Morant, Marcus Smart level. He's above those guys, but you need to see it more. I like what he's doing. He went 3 of 10 in this last game, and everyone's talked to him about being aggressive, right? So I think the aggressiveness is starting to be there. So now it's all about execution. And at the same time, with the Grizzlies shooting, another thing that I got to point it out is they're shooting terrible, but their opponents are shooting even worse than them. In the 2 games so far, they've held both of their opponents under 25% from three-point shooting. So if you're not going to make them, you better make sure
you better defend them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 3 games left in the preseason, which seems like it's 3 too many. I don't know if I would play Jaren Jackson Jr. and Des Bain. I mean, these are worthless games, let's be honest. But
they look good, yeah.
Is there anything that needs to be addressed if you were in Taylor Jenkins' shoes over the next 3 preseason games they need to see before they get rolling on the 25th?
I think that second to last preseason game is you use as kind of your dress rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now, like Desmond Bain played the most minutes in his last game where he used just around 26 minutes. I think you want to see Desmond Bain get up to about 30, 31 minutes. You know, he's probably going to play around 32 or so, 33 in the NBA regular season. But you want to get him up there a little bit more. I know Luke Kennard was talking about how after that first game he did feel it a little bit. Desmond Bain's talked about it in the past. So I say one more dress rehearsal where you say, let's try to get Dez up to about 31, 32. Maybe, get Jaren to about 28, 29, and around there somewhere. And then you kind of, can formulate a rotation in that same game too. Like try to run a dress rehearsal type rotation. If Zaire Williams is your starting guy, run Luke Kennard starting with the bench, and then figure out how you're going to work those rotations. Because I'm sure even though Zaire Williams may start, Luke Kennard's minutes still possibly will be close to or maybe even more than his.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is definitely a possibility as well. So I think you use one more game as a kind of like a dress rehearsal. Then that last game can kind of be like your last game of the regular season, where it's like, let's see how many points Kenneth Lawson Jr. can score and things like that.
Well, it would be nice, as I said, if Smart could be available, because you're going to do that dress rehearsal. You would like to at least get Smart out there in one of these games with all of these guys.
Yeah, and that's what I think you want to see him at least once. Yeah, I think twice would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
Because I would want to see him with Bain.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. He's DeMichael Cole. 3 more preseason games before it starts for keeps on the 25th, and he will have you covered at the Commercial Appeal. Catch him every Wednesday talking Grizzlies with us all year long. He's DeMichael Cole. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. DeMichael, as always, thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, appreciate you guys. Take care.
You too.
Of course, when the Grizzlies are playing, if you're not at the games, you want to watch the games, great place to do that is East Coast Wings and Grill, when all the action is on, with Grizzlies, Tigers, NFL, college football, always got the games on. Major League Baseball playoff, the games are always on at East Coast Wings and Grill. Plenty of TVs to watch all of the action while enjoying great food, great drinks, just a great atmosphere. Food includes 60 different flavors of wings that you could choose from on that menu. There's something on there for everybody. Certainly, you'll find your favorites and fall in love with them, but you can always try new ones as well. Again, 60 flavors to choose from, and all available in 7 different heat indexes. If it's not wings you're looking for, well, they got great burgers or flatbreads, other sandwiches, salads, all kinds of great stuff to choose from on the menu at East Coast Wings and Grill, plus 24 draft beers on tap. Any other things that you need drink-wise, well, they got you taken care of and a great staff to serve you as well. East Coast Wings and Grill is located off Highway 64. It's on Kate Hyde Boulevard, which is the street that runs right between the Lowe's and Walmart there off Highway 64. Very easy to find. Great food, great drinks, and a great place to watch all the action. East Coast Wings and Grill.
All right, when we come back, we will have five favorite things, your 5 favorite television moms. If you have not put together a list yet and you want to participate, you can do so now, 901-360-8255. If you would not mind, number your list, 5 to 1, 1 to 5. That doesn't really matter. You can also send it in via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and on the website, sportsmemphis.com. Also, an interesting list that Chris Vanini from The Athletic has put together as far as his group of 5 top 10. Where does Memphis stand in the importance of this game on Friday against Tulane as far as the New Year's Six is concerned? We'll discuss that as well in our final half hour and change. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Hey, in New York, right now I'm looking at all of the unders for Jets offensive numbers. Passing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards. I'm looking at all of the unders in New York. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win, FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
It's football time in Memphis, and if you or someone you know is thinking of selling their home, it sure better be home selling time in Memphis. And just like you may have a favorite team, favorite coach, or favorite players, you may not have a favorite real estate agent. If you don't, think about drafting me, Sheldon Rosengarten, with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I always tell people they need to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers to find out who will be the best quarterback of their home selling team. Have you heard people say that when you want the job done, call Shell Done? Find out why my award-winning, highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. Also find out how to take advantage of our worldwide relocation network. Call or email me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now, and go Tigers.
Fall time, game time, food time, fun time. It's all Dave and Buster's time. Watch the game at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway, and get $4 pints all day, every day. Plus $5 appetizer bites all day, every day. Join the fun and games after 4 p.m. every Monday and Thursday and get all-you-can-eat wings. All at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway. Fall is here, and that means games, food, and fun at Dave & Buster's.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Witness the power.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:30 the time. Final half hour for us today here on Sports 56 Mornings. Dave Woloshin returns. He's next. Wolo and Friends starting at 10 o'clock. Right now, though, it's time for 5 favorite things.
This is Gordon speaking. And I just love a number that's the same as my finger. You see, I got 5 fingers on this hand. That's 5.
5. Now let's stomp 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm in. High five. I got 5 on it.
5 favorite things.
In the past, we have done 5 favorite television dads. Today, it's all about the moms. Your 5 favorite television moms. Get your list together. If you haven't done so already, text it in on the Sports 56 listener line at 901-360-8255, or hit us up via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or on the website sportsmemphis.com. I'll go first, then we'll go Zach, Eli, and then we'll get to our callers. So here we go. 5 favorite television moms. I will begin with an honorable mention, and that would be Sophia Petrillo of the Golden Girls. Number 5, Beverly Goldberg of the Goldbergs. Number 4, Florida Evans, Good Times. Number 3. Where is number 3? Partridge. What's her name? I forgot her name. From the Partridge Family. Number 2, Peg Bundy, Married with Children. And number 1, Carol Brady of the Brady Bunch. I forgot to write down my number 3. There's my list.
Partridge in a Pear Tree?
The Partridge Family.
Was it Partridge in a Pear Tree?
What was her first name?
I have no idea. Never watched the Partridge Family in my life.
You never watched the Partridge Family?
Nope.
Now I got to look it up. It was Partridge Family.
Now that's something we can agree on, Eli.
Well, that was
watched it either.
That was way before your time. It was Shirley Jones, and she played. What a stretch! She played Shirley Partridge. Wasn't even her name. She went with a different name in the show. But
I am serious. Don't call me Shirley.
All right, there's my list. Zach?
All right, so no honorable mention with mine. So we get straight into it. Number 5, I went with Janet Kyle from My Wife and Kids.
Okay.
Number 4, Florida Evans. So we got
Good Times.
Yeah. Number 3, Harriet Winslow on Family Matters.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Vivian Banks from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
And then number 1, the mom of all moms, in my opinion, and that's Claire Huxtable.
Yeah, I was thinking about Claire Huxtable, but Bill Cosby just.
Well,
I just don't want to go anywhere near the Cosby show.
That's the thing.
This week. Last week you were a little scared to go with Bill Cosby. This week you could go. You could go Claire Huxtable. You're completely safe going Claire Huxtable.
If you got Claire Huxtable on your list, you're safe. This is not Bill.
You know what's interesting with Family Matters? Love the show. The mother just doesn't stand out to me because the father was so prominent.
Because her character was on. So Family Matters was a spinoff of the. I forgot the original show.
It was a spinoff, really? Family Matters?
Yeah, it was a spinoff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna find the original name.
Okay.
But her character Harriet was a supporting role for another TV show.
Okay.
And they said that the audience members loved their character so much that the writers spun off her.
So they
character
spinned off
into
a whole
Family
series
Matters.
because of her?
Yes.
Wow. And I just don't remember her being that prominent because, again, her husband dominated. Right, and then, of course,
Urkel
did I do that? Yeah.
Urkel
I mean,
the show.
but it was it was Urkel's relationship a lot of the times with the father. Right? The father who's now on a commercial for insurance. What's his name? Bell Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, his relationship with Urkel really made that show. Urkel was the guy. I understand that.
The show was called Chicago Chronicle.
I never heard of it.
And
they spun that off into Family Matters?
Yes.
Because of the mom. Wow, interesting.
Was Urkel part of the Chronicle?
No.
Urkel was probably one of those late additions by writers, and all of a sudden, like, he becomes the dude. He makes the show. All right, what do you got, Eli?
He's far from the dude.
In the show, he was the dude.
He's not a dude. You can't call Urkel.
He's not a dudette.
You can't call him a dude. He's far from a dude.
Okay.
The dude, first of all, the dude is only one. That's Big Lebowski.
I know.
And Urkel's far from that. All right, honorable mention goes to Tammy Taylor from Friday Night Lights. Number 5, Gloria Pritchett That is Sofia Vergara in Modern Family. Number 4, Marie Barone. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Almost made my list.
Number 3, it's hard to have a list without Florida Evans. Florida Evans is like the ultimate TV mom. Like, just, I don't know. There's something about her. Plus, the line from Friday, one of my favorite movie lines of all time. You Florida Evans looking. I always just think of Florida Evans because that line cracks me up with her. You Florida Evans looking. But anyway, number 2, Myra Rose from Schitt's Creek.
Oh, good one. I didn't even think about
she's
that.
So awesome.
Oh,
Gosh,
she was.
Awesome.
She was.
And number 1, another classic. You only want honorable mention, but Sophia Petrillo from The Golden Girls. Sophia and The Golden Girls was just...
Oh, she was great. But
she's so awesome.
I can't believe you didn't have Peg Bundy on your list, did you?
No, I did not. Al made that show. Peg,
you didn't like
much.
Peg, huh?
She's all right.
Peg?
Not, Al was that show.
All right.
Al and Kelly were that show. I didn't like the mom, and I didn't like Bud.
Didn't like Bud?
Not a big Bud fan.
Bud took a lot of abuse.
He did.
So did the neighbors.
Yes, they did.
All right. What do we got from our callers? Our listeners, rather.
John has number 5, Jill Taylor, Home Improvement. Got heavy consideration
I liked her.
for me.
Yeah, I liked her.
Number 4, Edith Bunker. Number 3, Mrs. Jefferson. Which is, what the heck's her first name?
Wasn't
Wheezy.
That's right.
Wheezy. Number 2, Sophia from The Golden Girls. And number 1, Marion Cunningham. Of course, from Happy Days.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to Thelma from Mama's Family. Marie, honorable mention to Florida Evans. Number 5, Samantha from Bewitched. Number 4, Peggy Bundy. Number 3, Morticia Adams. Number 2, Lily Munster. Got a dark side. Number 1, Olivia Walton. I assume that's from the Waltons.
From the Waltons, yeah.
Never watched that show.
I watched it. I did. It was kind of corny, but...
Good night, John Boy.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know from that show because it used to always be on right before Cubs baseball. And when I would turn on the game, it would be the end of the Waltons, and I always heard Good Night, John Boy. That's the only thing I know about the Waltons whatsoever is Good Night, John Boy. Ended it all the time.
You're not a big fan of Ike Godsey? He had the convenience store.
No idea what you're talking about.
He sold cellular phones.
Raider Corey, number 5, Peg Bundy. Number 4, Lucy Ricardo. Number 3, Florida Evans. Number 2, Claire Huxtable. And number 1, Carol Brady. You guys just continue to overrate the Brady Bunch.
Oh, come on.
It's so
There's no overrating the Brady Bunch. No overrating it. No way.
Overrated. So overrated.
Come on.
Let's see here.
And then like that fine wood paneling that Mike put up in that home. Come on, man. It was beautiful.
Oh, boy, this one, they came with all the actresses' names. Okay, we got Diane Carroll from Julia.
Okay.
Number 4, Marion Ross.
Happy Days.
Happy Days.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Felicia Rashad, which beat Cosby Show. Number 2, Barbara Billingsley. From
Leave It to Beaver.
Says, it's the apron and pearls for me.
She was good. She was good. Beeve.
And then number 1, June Lockhart as Ruth Martin from Lassie. Anytime a mother can understand what a dog is saying, that's my number 1 deal breaker.
You could have went June Lockhart from Lost in Space. She was in Lost in Space, too. I think she was a mom in Lost in Space, right?
I have no idea what Lost in Space is.
You never saw Lost in Space?
No.
Danger Will Robinson? You never heard that saying? Danger Will Robinson?
I have no idea.
That's from Lost in Space.
Tennessee Tom. Honorable mention to Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers. Number 5, Claire Dunphy. I love Claire, but Sofia Vergara's character, Gloria, slightly outdistanced her for that number 5 spot. Mm-hmm. Number 4, Marion Cunningham. Number 3, Rose, Betty White from Golden Girls. Number 2, Kitty Foreman from that 70s show.
Yes, she was good.
And number 1, June Cleaver. The best line, Ward, you were a little hard on the beaver.
I almost had he went with the Bob's Burgers mom, which was a good one. I almost went animated. I almost went with Wilma Flintstone. Almost pulled the trigger on Wilma.
Randy, honorable mention to Edith Bunker. Number 5, Gloria Pritchett. Number 4, Kitty from 70 Show. Number 3, Florida Evans. Number 2, Roseanne. And number 1, Lois Griffin. I assume that is...
Roseanne's a good one.
What's the Family Guy? Is that Lois Griffin?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Ron. Honorable mention to Edith Bunker. Number 5, Ruth Martin from Lassie. Number 4, Claire Huxtable. Number 3, Carol Brady. Number 2, Marion Cunningham. And number 1, June Cleaver. Bobby. Number 5, Peggy Hill.
King of the Hill.
Number 4, Carol Brady. Number 3, Peg Bundy. Number 2, Florida Evans. And number 1, Thelma Harper, with an honorable mention to Wilma Flintstone.
So 3 of my 5 from his list.
Let's see. Number 5, Edith Bunker. Number 4, Carol Brady. Number 3, Peg Bundy. Number 2, Kitty from That 70s Show. And number 1, June Cleaver. Carolyn on Twitter. Now it says, honorable mention June Cleaver. And then in parentheses it says, my favorite. If it was your favorite, that would be number 1, not an honorable mention.
You would think, right?
That's, I don't know. It's a little weird. Maybe favorite amongst all of the others other than my
others
top 5.
Receiving votes. It was your favorite.
Number 5, Marion Cunningham. Number 4, Edith Bunker. Number 3, Claire Huxtable. Number 2, Carol Brady. And number 1, Rainbow Johnson from Blackish. I have not watched.
That's with Anthony Anderson, but I didn't watch it as much. The one show I didn't, that you have one on your list, or maybe even, no, you have one on your list, and then some other people came with a different mom, was the show with what's her name? The beautiful
Modern Family
farm girl. Yeah, I never watched it. I watched bits and pieces, but never consistently watched that
Great show.
But I know it's great. I mean, obviously people respond to that every time we do one of these things with television, comedies or actors. It's always, that show's always included.
Cullen, honorable mention, both Gloria and Claire from Modern Family.
Yeah, there you
He
go.
did not separate the two. Sophia from Golden Girls, Marge Simpson, Laura Lee Gilmore. Is
Yeah,
that
from the Gilmore Girls, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tammy Taylor, Friday Night Lights, and Claire Huxtable. James Ann Romano. That's from One Day at a Time.
One Day at a Time. Yeah,
Great
she was pretty good. Yeah.
Jane Jetson, Lily Munster, Morticia Adams, and June Cleaver. Morticia Adams, June Cleaver, very similar.
Lily Munster, she didn't do much. Nor did Morticia, to be honest with you. But
I did not watch those shows either.
But at least, Morticia was making out with the Gomez. I mean, she was doing something, man. I don't know what Yvonne DiCarlo was doing as Lily Munster. She wasn't doing much.
Phil, number 5, Wheezy. Number 4, Lucy Ricardo. Number 3, Jill Taylor. Number 2, Kitty. Kitty from That 70s Show getting a lot of love.
Yeah, I didn't watch that consistently either. But again, when I've watched reruns, it's funny. And she's good. She's really good in that.
Number 1, June Cleaver. June Cleaver, she's like the classic TV mom.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Mary Tyler Moore didn't get any love for that for the Dick Van Dyke Show as a mom. In one of her big time roles, one of the beloved actresses of all time, but no love for her.
So he says Lois Griffin has to be one of the greatest animated moms.
She takes a lot of crap.
If we do the category of just animated moms.
Animated moms?
I never watched Family Guy, so I don't know about that. But
she's great. That character's great. Marge
or Jane Jetson would be one of my animated moms list, probably.
Wilma Flintstone. Come on. Wilma. Hot redhead. Come on. Got to go Wilma.
I was actually I think I'm more of a Betty.
You're more Betty?
More Betty than Wilma.
Yeah, Betty was fine. Nothing wrong with Betty. But Wilma had to put up with Fred. And she, was made, I guess they made that as an animated honeymooners type thing. And so it was kind of the Ralph Cramden and whatever her name was, Trixie, I forget her name, the Meadows, the wife. And then they made the Flintstones. Fred, I'm pretty sure this is right, and Fred and Wilma were made kind of in the image of them. Like, he would You know Fred, he's going off on, and she would like look at him and just go, like basically, shut the hell up, Fred. Fred would threaten her, shut the hell up, Fred. She didn't say that, but
could raise a dinosaur. That's pretty impressive. Taking care of a dinosaur. If all the other responsibility comes with being a mom and raising a dinosaur, that's impressive.
I mean, it's hard enough right now. I'm taking care of my wife's out of town. The litter for 3 cats. I mean, can you imagine the litter for a dinosaur? Ooh.
Didn't Barney have like a saber-tooth tiger or something as a pet?
Yes, that's right. They did. They had a tiger. Yeah. See that? Yeah.
But a dinosaur, the dinosaur dong. It's gonna be that's a big cleanup right there.
Yeah. See, Tennessee Tom's with me. Betty much hotter than Wilma.
Yeah, I like redheads.
That's kind of like the whole. That's.
We about to go down this rabbit hole?
That's kind of Marianne and Ginger. It's the same thing. It's the same type of comparison.
It's not bad.
That's the brunette versus the redhead.
That's not bad. Yeah.
I'm not.
Tennessee Tom want to go down this rabbit hole real quick? Like that's what we about to have.
Tennessee Tom, yeah, he wants to go down a lot of rabbit holes.
Your 5 favorite hot animated women.
Well, the first thing I was thinking about when you came up with the topic,
Jessica Rabbit or whatever, is it?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I can do. I can give you a top 5 for that one. I can do it. We got to save it for a Wednesday.
Marge Simpson not making that list.
No.
Marge is off that list.
That voice, it's bad enough when they listen to that voice. But yeah, when you came up with the topic yesterday, I'm like 5 TV moms. I almost wanted to say, all right, 5 TV. We're not asking about the 5 hottest television moms necessarily, just your 5 favorite television moms. Then again, your criteria, we know with Tennessee Tom, has a lot to do with the hotness, especially with the animated ones.
Well, who did he? He had June Cleaver at number 1, so I don't know if he was going. And he had Betty White on his list.
Betty White in her day, man, was good looking.
Claire Dunphy. Julie Bowen is.
That's the blonde. Yeah, the blonde.
Obviously, Sofia Vergara, if she's on your list, she's pretty good. Marianne Cunningham was on his list. I don't think anybody was drooling over Marianne Cunningham.
No, I don't think so.
I think, got to watch this one.
Although Fonzie, I think, wanted to.
Speaking of happy days.
I think Fonzie may have wanted to, jump in the hay with her.
Happy ending with happy days. Folks, Genesis Diamonds, located in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center, Poplar and Perkins Extended. Changing the diamond game, changing the jewelry game here in Memphis. Folks have been finding out as they go in there. When you check out the selection, the value, the service, everything that you get when you go see the folks at Genesis Diamonds absolutely will amaze you. Diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, thousands of engagement rings right there in the store. Not, hey, come look at this catalog and pick something out. No, right there in the store. Thousands for you to choose from. Colored gemstone jewelry. It's a jewelry superstore. No pressure, no games, no crazy pricing. Right there in front of you, an amazing selection at great prices with great people to help you. So if you are looking to get engaged, if you've got a special anniversary coming up, holidays will be here before we know it. You're thinking jewelry, go check out Genesis Diamonds. Poplar Commons Shopping Center right there, Poplar and Perkins Extended. They're right in the middle of the shopping center. You're going to absolutely love it when you go in there. You'll thank me for sending you to Genesis Diamonds.
The unofficial Group of 5 top 10 will tell you where the Athletic puts Memphis and where they put Tulane heading into their big battle on Friday night here in Memphis. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
I feel good shopping at DriveMax. DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis. Jewelry guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones you can imagine, and you'll find a vast selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage, and they'll put a smile on her face. With our 5 decades of experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece. The piece that says, I love you. For 38 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looks great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis, Ridgeway 385, online, AcuraMemphis.com. Great cars, great people, always a great experience when you go see the folks at Acura of Memphis. So, Zach, do you want to correct yourself here? Because we've had a lot of texts and other people correcting you. The spinoff is actually...
I realized the mistake. I got really excited because that was a fun fact that I knew.
A wrong fun fact.
A fun fact that you knew that you screwed up.
Yeah.
All right, so what is it?
So Family Matters was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers.
That's crazy to think about. Perfect Strangers with Bronson Pinchot.
I did not know, because I used to love Perfect Strangers. I had no idea. I really did not know that Family Matters was a spinoff of that.
So Family Matters is located, the setting is Chicago?
Yes.
Okay, just like Perfect Strangers.
Yeah,
all right.
so she worked at the Chicago Chronicle as an elevator operator. So that's why.
Wow, I had no idea that was a spinoff. That makes a little bit more sense, though.
Balki Bartakamus, one of the great...
Valky.
he was one of the great TV characters. I used to love Perfect Strangers.
So our friend Chris Vanini, friend of the show from The Athletic, has put together his top 10 group of 5 schools, his rankings. Again, nothing official with this, but he's pretty good at what he does. He covers the group of 5 pretty seriously. He has Wyoming at number 1, 5-1, coming off their win over Fresno State. He has Tulane at number 2 at 4-1. He has James Madison at 5-0, number 3, but James Madison is ineligible to play in their conference championship game, so thus ineligible to be the New Year's 6 representative, the group of 5 representative in a New Year's 6 bowl game. He's got Air Force number 4. They are 5-0. Air Force Wyoming play this week, 1 versus 4. Then he has Fresno State at number 5 at 5-1. So he's got a lot of love for the Mountain West. He's got 3 in the top 5. And then he has Memphis at 4-1 at number 6. So, according to his list, you have a battle between number 2 Tulane, number 6 Memphis, and number 4 Air Force, and number 1 Wyoming coming up this week. Huge games in the group of 5. The rest of his top 10, Ohio 7th, 5-1, Marshall 8th, 4-1, Troy 9th at 4-2, and then SMU, which Memphis will have later on in the season at home, they are 3-2. He's got Liberty just missing out, others receiving votes, and of course they are undefeated so far, but haven't played a real tough schedule, and when it's all said and done, really will not play a tough schedule. But Memphis having a chance Friday night to move up those rankings with a win over Tulane.
Absolutely.
We talked a lot about the Tigers today. We'll continue to do so tomorrow with the Tigers Football Report. We'll break down the Tigers' battle with Tulane. Also, we'll be joined by the voice of the Tulane Green Wave, Corey Glore. Kerry Miller will join us from Bleacher Report to talk Major League Baseball playoffs. And then we'll have the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour from 9 to 10 with Harold Grader and our world-famous Pick 6. Big shout-out to our great guests today, Ryan Silverfield, Randy Fietner, Jerry Palm, and DeMichael Cole. And again, you can catch the podcast, Sports 56 Mornings podcast. We break it down hourly. Just go to the website, sportsmemphis.com, and check out some of these great interviews from our show and other shows on the featured audio part or portion of the website. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is next. The return of the prodigal son, Dave Woloshin. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.